Chapter 3377. The longer this dragged on, the more unfavorable it would be for him. Gradually, Heavenly Lord Gentleman began to feel anxious. In the blink of an eye, several days had passed, but he still couldn't lock onto the opponent's position. Lai Yin and the others had already guessed that Heavenly Lord Gentleman couldn't lock onto Longao. Was this true? Unbelievable. However, Lai Yin and the others didn't dare to say anything. Longao's spatial chaos divine tool is really heaven-defying. Even I can't lock onto his position. Sure enough, although they had guessed it, Ancestor Yun and the others still couldn't help but tremble. After all, in their eyes, Heavenly Lord Gentleman should be an omnipotent existence. However, he couldn't even lock onto Longao's position. If they hadn't seen it with their own eyes, they would have found it hard to believe. Do you have a way? If we had a way, we wouldn't have invited you here. Ancestor Yun shook his head helplessly and said, Lord Heavenly Lord, we don't have a way. Longao relied on this spatial chaos divine tool to rise. Boom! At this moment, Longao's figure suddenly appeared. Before Ancestor Yun and the others could react, they were already attacked by Longao. Humph! He snorted coldly. If Longao killed Ancestor Yun and the others right under his nose, he would lose his face. If this matter were to spread out, he would become a laughing stock. Edited by Lifer, Fingerfox. Longao also punched out fiercely. The surrounding origin energy began to gather. Then Longao punched back, and the two fists collided fiercely. With a loud bang, the surrounding space began to collapse. Black cracks appeared as if they were going to devour everything. In the blink of an eye, Longao and Heavenly Lord Gentleman were instantly drawn into the space collapse. As long as they succeeded in their Tao, they could enter the space collapse at will. Lai Yin, what should we do? Let's wait and see. Lai Yin was afraid. With Longao's current strength, although he hadn't truly grasped the origin energy and become a Heavenly Lord, he could easily destroy them. The two of them didn't know if Longao would seize the opportunity to kill them if they also entered the spatial collapse. He could not gamble, nor did he dare to gamble. If he lost the bet, he would lose his life. The primal chaos space was a field of primal chaos. Only by breaking the space and causing it to collapse could one enter the true primal chaos space. Here it is. Only those who had come into contact with the power of origin or had truly grasped the power of origin could walk freely and even cultivate. As for Lai Yin and Cloud Ancestor, although the two of them had confirmed their Tao, they had yet to touch the power of origin. They could only stay in the chaos space for a few minutes. If they stayed for too long, they would be killed by the chaos space. Longao was not afraid. He had already come into contact with the power of the origin. The reason he forced himself to fight against Heavenly Master Junzi was so that he could master the power of the origin as soon as possible. Being able to contend against a Tao-confirming Empyrean did not mean that one could kill a Tao-confirming Empyrean. Longao was confident that as long as he grasped the power of the origin and became a Celestial Venerable, he would be able to kill Celestial Venerable Gentlemen. Only through constant fighting could he master the power of the origin as quickly as possible. And Celestial Venerable Gentleman was the best target for him to gain experience with. If Celestial Venerable Gentleman found out that he was just a sparring partner, who knew how he would feel? However, the two of them were evenly matched in strength. Neither of them could do anything to the other. At first, Celestial Venerable Gentleman couldn't wait to lock onto Longao's whereabouts. However, after Longao came out and fought with him, Celestial Venerable Gentleman gradually discovered that although Longao had just confirmed his Tao and had just touched upon the power of the origin, his strength was on par with his. It was simply unimaginable. The gentleman's sword appeared in Celestial Venerable Gentleman's hand. As the #1 treasure of Celestial Venerable Gentleman, there was no need to say much about its might. This was also the reason why Celestial Venerable Gentleman could have a place among the Celestial Venerables. Longao, I have to admit that your talent and potential, as well as your strength, are extremely powerful. In the future, Once you truly grasp the power of the origin, even I won't be your opponent. However, the current you isn't enough. Today, I'll let you know the true difference between a Tao-confirming martial artist and a Tao-confirming celestial venerable. Gentleman's Sword Art. First move, Sin Extermination. The surrounding power of the origin transformed into streaks of sword chi. It was as if a monarch had descended upon the world. Longao was startled when he sensed the might of the sword chi. He didn't dare to be careless. Holding the primal chaos axe, he chopped out 9 times in a row. The sword chi and axe shadow fiercely collided. Longao groaned. He had underestimated his opponent's gentleman's sword art. However, with the breakthrough in his cultivation base, his defensive power had increased by another level. Just this sword alone wasn't enough to seriously injure Longao. His opponent was actually able to block his Sin Extermination sword art. He was really strong. However, Celestial Venerable Gentleman sneered. The Gentleman's Sword Art had a total of 3 moves. The first move, Sin Extermination, was just the first move. Gentleman's Sword Art. Second move, Sealing Extermination. The power of this move was far above Sin Extermination. The surrounding space began to be sealed by the sword chi, forming an absolute sword chi shield. Longao couldn't block the sword chi shield. Celestial Venerable Gentleman's sword moves were truly terrifying. The primal chaos axe continuously chopped out. Axe shadows covered his body. The sword chi attacked the seal shadow chi shield, and the 2 chi shields began to fiercely collide. If it was an ordinary Tao-confirming martial artist, they wouldn't even be able to block the Sin Extermination sword move, let alone the Sealing Extermination sword move. Heavenly Venerate Gentleman was able to rely on these 3 sword moves to make a name for himself among the Heavenly Venerates. However, Celestial Venerable Gentleman was facing Longao. He was an extremely abnormal fellow. He was a monstrous genius who could contend with a Tao-confirming Celestial Venerable even though he had just reached Tao-confirming. After the primal chaos axe fused with the axe soul, its power was incomparable to before. It was impossible for Sealing Extermination to kill Longao. Exalted Celestial Gentleman was clearly taken aback. He had complete confidence in his 2 sword moves. How could it be that he couldn't even kill his opponent? The Sin Extermination sword move combined with the Sealing Annihilation sword move was more than enough to kill an ordinary Tao-confirming Celestial. How had his opponent done this? However, since things had already come to this, Celestial Venerable Gentleman wouldn't let the tiger return to the mountain. If he didn't remove the root of the problem, there would be endless trouble in the future. Celestial Venerable Gentleman didn't expect things to turn out like this. When he accepted the 2's invitation, he thought that it would be very simple. He just had to casually make a move, and he would be able to obtain heaven-defying treasures. Let alone him. He believed that every Tao-confirming Celestial Venerable would agree without hesitation. P.S. I support Little Nine's new book, Cultivation Berserk Upgrade. Absolutely hot-blooded. Chapter 3378. Gentleman Sword Art, Third Move, Inch Light. This was Gentleman Heavenly Venerate's greatest killing move. Gentleman Heavenly Venerate had once relied on this sword move to kill a Heavenly Venerate of the same level. The power of Inch Light was needless to say. All the origin energy in the surroundings gathered at one point. One point of explosion. Longao was also shocked, as expected of a Heavenly Venerate who had been famous for a long time. Just this sword move alone could defeat most Heavenly Venerates. At this moment, not far away, 3 figures quickly arrived in the blink of an eye. On the left was a middle-aged man dressed in fluttering white clothes. He looked very gentle and elegant. In the middle was a young man who looked extremely coquettish, just like a woman. On the right was an old man with a large pustule on his forehead. He looked extremely disgusting. The 3 of them looked at the battle in front of them with surprise. Gentleman's Sword, you're really shameless. You're known as a gentleman, but you're shameless enough to lower yourself to deal with a small Tao validation cultivator. It was very difficult to meet a Tao validation cultivator or Heavenly Venerate in the Chaos Realm. However, the situation was completely different in the Chaos realm. Tao validation cultivators and heavenly venerates could be seen everywhere in the Chaos realm. If one was lucky, one could even see a Tao validation Great Emperor. As long as one could control the origin energy, staying in the primal chaos space to cultivate was the best choice. It was also the best place to cultivate. Humph! Gentleman's sword did not continue to attack. Instead, he stared at the three people in front of him. Of course, Longao could clearly sense that the three people who had suddenly descended were not ordinary Tao validation martial artists, but Tao validation heavenly venerables who were above Tao validation martial artists. 3 Tao validation heavenly venerates. Dark North, myriad beasts, undying. Are you 3 going to interfere in my affairs? It would be a lie to say that he was not afraid. Gentlemen heavenly venerate knew that the 3 of them were not inferior to him in strength. If they joined forces, they could even kill him. The 3 people who suddenly appeared were heavenly venerate Dark North, heavenly venerate myriad beasts, and heavenly venerate undying. The 3 of them were neither enemies nor friends of gentlemen heavenly venerate. Heavenly venerate Dark North sneered and said eerily, "Gentleman's sword, we'd like to ask, why are you attacking this person?" The 3 of them were all old foxes. A Tao-confirming martial artist dared to provoke a Tao-confirming Empyrean? It was complete nonsense. The gentleman celestial venerable had lowered himself to make a move. There must be a reason behind it. The 3 of them were very curious and wanted to know what was going on. What he was afraid of really came true. Empyrean gentleman was very afraid of the 3 Empyreans joining hands. His face was very gloomy as he coldly said, "He dares to challenge this Empyrean's dignity. I must kill him." Ha! Ha ha ha! Ha ha ha! How could the 3 of them believe Heavenly Sovereign Junzi's words? "Who are you?" Longao. "How did you provoke the noble sword?" Every single one of them was a good thing. Longao's voice was extremely indifferent as he said mockingly, "I provoked him? How shameless! I merely obtained a chaotic divine artifact, and he shamelessly tried to snatch it away from me. Is this a provocation? I provoked his sister." The 3 of them were even more curious now. Just what sort of chaotic divine artifact did the other party obtain for Empyrean gentlemen to try and snatch it away? Given the status and strength of a Tao-confirming Empyrean gentleman would not strike out so casually unless it was some extremely heaven-defying or weird chaotic divine artifact. All of a sudden, the 3 of them were even more curious about what sort of chaotic divine artifact the other party possessed. As for how this person could defend against Empyrean Gentleman's sword, and even defend against the first 2 moves of Empyrean Gentleman's sword, it seemed like this person was pretty strong as well. Could the chaotic divine artifact on this person be a legendary defensive chaotic divine artifact? Amongst all the chaotic divine artifacts out there, defensive chaotic divine artifacts were extremely rare. If that were the case, it was no wonder why Empyrean gentlemen would try to snatch it away. If it were any other Tao-confirming Empyrean, they might have done the same. The temptation of a defensive chaotic divine artifact was simply too great. Longao could roughly guess what the 3 of them were thinking. He said coldly, "I obtained a defensive chaotic divine artifact by accident. Could it be that the 3 of you seniors want to snatch it away as well?" We are not that shameless. Even though the 3 Tao-confirming Empyreans wanted to snatch it away, they were too embarrassed to do so after hearing this. After all, it was extremely shameless for a Tao-confirming Empyrean to attack a Tao-confirming Empyrean. Gentleman's sword. Before the 3 of them could say anything, Empyrean gentleman waved his hand. He naturally knew what the 3 of them wanted to say. Killing Longao was a must. Not to mention the treasures on Longao's body. Just Longao's talent and potential meant that he absolutely couldn't allow a tiger to return to the mountains. Otherwise, there would be endless trouble in the future, and he wouldn't even have the chance to regret it. I don't have any grudges with the 3 of you. I don't need you to interfere in my matters. If there's nothing else, you can leave now. Empyrean myriad beasts, Empyrean Dark North, an undying Empyrean smiled but didn't say anything. Empyrean Gentleman wasn't willing to wait any longer. He took a step forward and rushed towards Longao. He directly used the third move of the Gentleman's sword art, enchantment. All of his source energy turned into a bit of sword chi. Longao had just seen the power of this move and didn't dare to be careless. However, he also didn't want to continue fighting head-on. After all, there were 3 Dao confirming Empyreans around him. If the 3 of them really joined forces against Empyrean Gentleman, he wouldn't have a chance. In addition, Longao also wanted to learn Empyrean Gentleman's 3 moves. They were too suitable for him. If he could learn them, it would be another killing move for him. Boom! Inchlight ruthlessly attacked Longao's body. He was sent flying like a kite with a broken string. He actually withstood it. The 3 heavenly venerates were dumbfounded when they saw that their opponent was able to withstand this sword move. How could they not know about heavenly venerate Junzi's 3 killing moves? It was precisely because of this that they finally understood why heavenly venerate Junzi was so shameless as to attack a heavenly venerate. If he could get his hands on such a heaven-defying chaotic divine weapon, no one at the same level as him would be able to break it. For the sake of face, the 3 of them weren't willing to make a move. However, they weren't willing to give up either. If Empyrean Junzi really killed this person, then there wouldn't be any problem snatching this defensive divine tool from Empyrean Junzi's hands. Chapter 3379. Longao had underestimated heavenly venerate Junzi's 3rd sword move. Sword move, enchantment. Focus on a single point and attack with all your strength. Longao's body was hit directly. If it weren't for the fact that his body had already fused with his chaotic dantian, this sword move would have taken his life. At the same time that Longao's body flew out, it also disappeared. This move again. Of course, heavenly venerate Junzi knew that Longao must have entered the spatial chaotic divine tool. This was also the reason why he had used all 3 sword moves. He was helpless. Even heavenly venerate Junzi had never thought that his 3 sword moves would fail to kill Lin Fan. If he hadn't experienced it himself, he wouldn't have believed it. Even an ordinary heavenly venerate wouldn't have been able to withstand his 3 sword moves. Moreover, Lin Fan was just an insignificant heavenly venerate martial artist. Gentleman's sword. You're really a disgrace to us heavenly venerates. I admire you. Heavenly venerate Junzi snorted coldly. He knew very well that once Longao hid in the spatial chaotic divine tool, it would be meaningless even if he stood guard here. Instead of wasting time, he might as well think of a way to deal with Lin Fan. The 3 heavenly venerates were curious as they watched heavenly venerate Junzi gradually disappear. They didn't know how he had disappeared. What do you think? Not only does this person have a defensive chaotic divine tool, but he also has a spatial chaotic divine tool. I've already sensed it. I can't lock onto his position. The 3 heavenly venerates were greedy. If they could obtain such a heaven-defying chaotic divine tool, it would be like adding wings to a tiger. Inside his chaotic dantian. As soon as Longao stepped into his chaotic dantian, he immediately began to comprehend the 3 sword moves. Master, evil ancestor, do you know heavenly venerate Junzi's 3 sword moves? 3 days later, Longao was pleasantly surprised. Although he had been attacked by the 3 sword moves consecutively, he had gained some enlightenment. However, it was easier said than done to truly comprehend the 3 sword moves. Heavenly venerate Junzi? Upon hearing Longao's words, both the evil ancestor and Xinyuan Bubi's expressions changed. Or what happened? He briefly recounted what had happened earlier, especially the 3 great sword moves, which he described in detail. After listening to the story, the 2 of them were speechless. Xinyuan Bubi thought for a moment and said, Empyreans are existences on another level. They can stay in the primal chaos space forever. As for people like us who can't touch the origin energy, even if we can enter the primal chaos space, we won't be able to last for long. He nodded. How could Longao not know about this point that his master was talking about? However, We've heard of the great name of Heavenly Sovereign Junzi. It's said that Heavenly Sovereign Junzi has 3 great sword moves. The first move is called Crime Extermination. The second move is called Seal. The third move is called Radiant Light. The evil ancestor continued, I have to say that you're really amazing. You actually managed to block the 3 sword moves of Empyrean Gentleman. You should know that even an ordinary Empyrean Dao, confirming Empyrean, wouldn't be a match for the 3 sword moves. The first move, Extermination. The second move, Seal. The third move, Inch of Light. Having personally experienced the terror of the 3 sword moves, Longao naturally knew what the 3 sword moves of Heavenly Venerate Gentleman meant. Aoer, do you want to comprehend the 3 sword moves of Heavenly Sovereign Junzi? Nodding, Longao didn't hide anything from the evil ancestor and his master. He was very shocked. Comprehending the martial technique of a Dao confirming Heavenly Venerate, anyone would know what that meant. If it were anyone else who said that, Xinyuan Bubi and the evil ancestor would not believe it. Only Longao did. How's your comprehension? Longao helplessly smiled and said, the 3 sword techniques of Heavenly Sovereign Junzi are truly strange and powerful. I've only comprehended a bit of it. Even so, the evil ancestor and Xinyuan Bubi still sighed. Could others do it? It was complete nonsense. Aoer, what do you want to do next? If I want to grasp the origin energy in the shortest amount of time possible, or comprehend the full set of the 3 sword moves, the only way is to fight Heavenly Sovereign Junzi. Crazy. The 2 didn't stop him. Since Heavenly Sovereign Junzi couldn't kill Longao, he believed that if he couldn't do it the first time, he wouldn't be able to do it the second time, the third time, or even the 4th time. The 2 even found it funny. If Heavenly Sovereign Junzi knew that he was being treated as a training target by a martial artist who had just reached the Tao confirming Heavenly Sovereign Junzi, who knew what he would think? Longao had already touched upon the origin energy and had a primal chaos dantian. Staying in the primal chaos space was as easy as flipping his hand. Thus, he followed Heavenly Sovereign Junzi. Undying Heavenly Sovereign, Myriad Beasts Heavenly Sovereign, and Dark North Heavenly Sovereign had already left. Although they wanted to obtain the 2 Chaos Divine tools, they didn't want to waste time. They hadn't seen it before, so they didn't believe it. Who is it? Heavenly Sovereign Junzi was preparing to return to Cloud Valley. He didn't know why, but he kept feeling that someone was following him. He never thought that it would be Longao. In his opinion, the person following him must be a Dao confirming Heavenly Sovereign. Heavenly Sovereign Junzi, I still want to test your 3 great sword moves. Heavenly Sovereign Junzi didn't expect Longao to suddenly appear in front of him. He said coldly, Longao, do you really think you can contend against me? If you didn't hide in the spatial primal chaos divine tool. Humph. Although he didn't finish his sentence, the meaning was clear. Longao wasn't a fool. How could he not know? However, he didn't care at all. He said mockingly, all right, I won't enter the spatial primal chaos divine tool this time. I hope you won't make me regret it. Ha ha. You. Heavenly Sovereign Junzi didn't put Lin Fan in his eyes. Although Lin Fan was strong, he was still far from being able to contend against him. In Heavenly Sovereign Junzi's opinion, the reason Lin Fan was able to withstand his 3 great sword moves and didn't die was because he had a defensive primal chaos divine tool. Longao didn't want to continue talking nonsense. In any case, even a Dao confirming Heavenly Sovereign wouldn't be able to break through his defense. He could use this opportunity to comprehend the 3 great sword moves while fighting Heavenly Sovereign Junzi. In the blink of an eye, the 2 continued fighting. In order to end the battle quickly, Heavenly Sovereign Junzi used his 3 great sword moves as soon as the battle started. The first sword move was Sin Extermination, the second sword move was Seal, and the third sword move was Inch Light. Longao was pleasantly surprised. This was exactly what he wanted. Heavenly Sovereign Junzi kept using his 3 great sword moves. This was the best situation for him. After all, he was fighting Heavenly Sovereign Junzi in order to comprehend the 3 great sword moves. Chapter 30, 380. As he fought with the heavenly Lord Junzi, Longao realized that he was slowly gaining control over the source of power. This was a pleasant surprise. He had thought that he would need at least dozens of years or even hundreds of years to gain control over the source of power. But by the looks of it now, in 3 years at most, he would be able to truly gain control over the source of power. How could he not be excited? How could he not be excited? The moment he truly gained control over the source of power, he would truly be able to verify his Tao as a heavenly lord. Boom, 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 boom. The two of them continued to exchange blows. One of them threw a punch while the other threw a sword. As the battle escalated, the heavenly Lord Junzi's state of mind grew more and more fearful. Even though the other party had just verified his Tao, his strength was already enough to take him on. It was hard to imagine. If the other party were to truly gain control over the source of power and verify his Tao as a heavenly lord, killing him would be a piece of cake. This wasn't the way to go on. Letting the tiger return to the mountains would only bring about endless troubles. Dodging the other party's sword, the heavenly Lord Junzi said coldly, Longao, I have to admit that given your current strength, I can no longer kill you easily. But don't worry, I'll make you regret it. Without even giving Longao a chance to speak, the heavenly Lord Junzi turned around and left. Before long, he had disappeared without a trace. Longao was pleasantly surprised. He did not chase after him. This battle with the heavenly Lord Junzi had given him a new understanding of the 3 sword skills. Without hesitation, he struck while the iron was hot and began to comprehend the 3 sword skills. First sword skill, sin eradication. Second sword skill, death suppression. Third sword skill, inch light. Longao shut his eyes tightly. His mind was replaying the battle with the heavenly Lord Junzi. First was the first sword, sin eradication. Gradually, Longao's body began to move. The chaos axe in his hands was like a sharp sword, piercing the axe with the sword. As he continued to comprehend, Longao began to evolve the 3 sword skills. Not only that, Longao even began to recreate the chaotic 9 axes, preparing to combine the 3 major sword moves to create his own ultimate move. Not only did he want to fuse the 3 great sword moves and the chaotic 9 axes, but Longao also had a crazy idea, which was to fuse the god-slaying finger as well. In that case, once it evolved and fused, it would create a Tao verification martial skill. It continued to evolve in the chaotic space. Cracks began to appear in the surrounding chaotic space. Inside the chaotic Dantian, Xinyuan, can Longao succeed? You should know that combining the Chaos 9 axes, the 3 sword moves, and the god-slaying finger is too difficult. Even a Tao confirming Great Emperor might not be able to do it. Xinyuan Bubi didn't know if his disciple could succeed. However, he chose to believe in his disciple. If Ao can successfully fuse the 3 martial skills and create his own unique martial skill, I believe that this Tao verification martial skill will be enough for him to kill a Tao verification heavenly venerable. The evil ancestor's face was also filled with amazement. Longao's strength was needless to say. If it was someone else who had just become a Tao verification martial artist, not to mention a Tao verification heavenly venerable, they might not even be able to move unhindered among the Tao verification martial artists. The evil ancestor was very clear that with Longao's current strength, he could move unhindered among the Tao verification martial artists. Among the Tao verification heavenly venerables, Longao was the number 1, the true number 1. As time continued to pass, Longao's 3 martial skills had already begun to gradually merge. Xiaoqian immediately rejoiced in his heart. So, he continued to put in more effort. He was only 1 step away from officially fusing the 3 martial skills. Then, he would be able to create a brand new martial skill that was most suitable for him. Longao was full of confidence. As long as he could create this Tao verification martial skill, even if he met Heavenly Venerable Gentleman again, he was confident that he could kill him. Cloud Valley. As Heavenly Venerable Gentleman chased after Longao, the Cloud Ancestor, and the other 4 were completely stunned. Long Ao's strength and variability had far exceeded their scope of understanding. It would be best if Heavenly Venerable Gentleman could kill Long Ao smoothly. However, if he couldn't, they all knew what it would mean. In the beginning, the 5 of them were very confident in Heavenly Venerable Gentleman. However, if Heavenly Venerable Gentleman could kill Long Ao smoothly, he wouldn't have waited until now. It would be a lie to say that they weren't afraid. Lion, what should we do now? Conceal our identities and don't interfere with Long Ao's matters anymore. Since things had already come to this, the 5 of them had no choice but to do so even if they were unwilling. Otherwise, as long as Long Ao didn't die, it would be a piece of cake for him to kill them. Just as the 5 of them were about to leave and conceal their identities, the space collapsed and Long Ao walked out of the black crack. The 5 of you, where are you going? Sure enough, what they feared the most was that Heavenly Venerable Gentleman wouldn't be able to kill Long Ao smoothly. Although they had guessed it in their hearts, they were still unwilling to believe it. After all, Heavenly Venerable Gentleman was a Tao verification Heavenly Venerable. However, the truth was right in front of them. Even if they didn't want to believe it, they could only accept it. Cloud Ancestor forced a smile and said, Long Ao, we were wrong before. You are a magnanimous person. Let's write off this matter. You can state any conditions you want. How about it? Although the other 4 didn't say anything, their meaning was clear. As long as they could save their lives, they would do anything. Lin Fan sneered in his heart. No matter where he was, strength was the key to everything. If it was him in the past, Cloud Ancestor and Lian would have attacked him directly. They couldn't wait to kill him. Cloud Ancestor, I want to see what this Chaos Divine tool in your hand is. His heart suddenly sank. This Chaos Divine tool was his greatest reliance. For countless years, he relied on this Chaos Divine tool to dominate the Tao verification Heavenly Venerables. However, he was unwilling to hand it over now. He just didn't want to, could he? It was complete nonsense. With Long Ao's current strength, it was too easy for him to kill him. Cloud Ancestor sighed deeply in his heart. With endless reluctance, a mass of black light appeared in his hand, and he said, I obtained this Chaos Divine tool by accident. I haven't truly mastered it. Long Ao was surprised when he received the black light. He had personally experienced the terror of this Chaos Divine tool. He never thought that Cloud Ancestor hadn't truly mastered it. It was hard to imagine how powerful this Chaos Divine tool would be if he could truly master it. Lian, I want to learn the move you used to deal with me. Chapter 3381. Lian's heart sank. She was furious. So what if she was furious? In front of the absolute gap in strength, she didn't dare to say anything. Lian didn't dare to say anything and handed over her killer move. Trash. Long Ao was very clear that this killer move was only useful against blazing flames. In any case, it was completely useless against him. Long Ao, can we leave now? Since Long Ao didn't say anything, Ancestor Yun and the rest didn't dare to leave casually. What a joke. Not long ago, Long Ao was just an ant in front of them. How long had it been? The situation was completely reversed. Long Ao could control their life and death. They shook their heads. Before the 5 of them could speak, Long Ao said coldly, You wanted to kill me before. I can let you go, but each of you has to take a move from me. They were completely stunned. If it was in the past, not to mention one move, even 10,000 moves wouldn't be a problem. But now, the situation was different. Long Ao was a monstrous existence. He could even fight against Heavenly Sovereign Gentlemen. Thinking about it, how strong was Long Ao now? Long Ao, you've gone too far. Gritting her teeth, Lai Yin said word by word coldly. She had never thought that she would not let him go even after she had used her strongest move. It was simply a humiliation to her. If it wasn't for the fact that she was weaker than the other party, Lai Yin would have taken action long ago. She had never been humiliated like this before. Moreover, the other party was Long Ao. If you don't take my move, you'll die. Longao didn't want to talk nonsense with the two. Whether it was Ancestor Yun or Lai Yin, he had to kill them. Nurturing a tiger would bring endless trouble. How could Longao not understand this logic? All right, Ancestor Yun stood up. Although he was wary of Longao's strength, Longao could also take a move. If he couldn't even take a move, then he deserved to die. Longao. Before the Cloud Ancestor could finish speaking, or even react, Longao used his finger as a sword, and the origin energy in the surroundings began to gather. Rumble, 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 the surrounding space began to collapse. After fusing the three great martial skills, Longao had created a brand new martial skill. He wanted to try it out and see how powerful this martial skill was. Cloud Ancestor was completely dumbfounded. He was shocked to find that in just a few days, Longao's strength seemed to have improved again. In the past, Longao might have only grasped 10% of the power of origin, but now Longao had grasped 70% of the power of origin. What kind of concept was this? At this moment, Ancestor Yin didn't dare to continue fighting. He even doubted if he could withstand this move. If he couldn't, he wouldn't even have the chance to regret it. Boom! Ancestor Yun turned to leave. However, under such circumstances, how could Longao choose to let him go so easily? Using his finger as a sword, the sword chi pierced through Ancestor Yun's body. Even at the moment of his death, Ancestor Yun didn't expect that he would die in the hands of someone who was like an ant in his eyes. Ancestor Yun's body fell. Piglet's figure appeared and started to devour crazily. Lai Yin and the other three didn't dare to stay any longer. If they stayed, they would die. With Ancestor Yun as an example, no one dared to withstand Longao's sword. It was too terrifying. Even with Ancestor Yun's terrifying strength, he couldn't even withstand one move from Longao. Is this for real? If they hadn't seen it with their own eyes, they wouldn't have believed it even if they were beaten to death. It was too terrifying. They had seen demonic geniuses before, but they had never seen someone like Longao. Lin Fan snorted. How could Longao choose to give up so easily? Using his finger as a sword, the sword chi shot out rapidly. How could Lai Yin resist it? The moment she was swallowed by the spatial collapse, her body was also pierced through by the sword chi. Longao could even resist Heavenly Sovereign Gentlemen, let alone Ancestor Yun and Lai Yin, who hadn't even touched the origin energy. It was too easy for him to kill them. Ancestor Yun and Lai Yin didn't even have the chance to resist before they were killed. Boom! Under Evelmun's horrified eyes, Longao's terrifying sword chi had already arrived. It directly pierced through Evelmun's body, tearing it into pieces and turning it into a cloud of blood mist. In the blink of an eye, only Master God Diviner and Nangong Yin were left. Perhaps because they knew that they couldn't escape, the two of them stopped and looked at Longao. Even now, Longao still couldn't believe that this was real. He was just an ant-like existence before. How could he achieve such a status in such a short time? He was so powerful that he could even kill Ancestor Yun and Lai Yin with a single move. The two were very clear that the current Longao could easily destroy them with a flip of his hand. Since that was the case, what was the point of running away? There was no point. Master Godly Mathematician, Nangong Yin, do you still remember when you dealt with me and Dragon's Soaring Starry Sky? Master Godly Mathematician Yibu suddenly said with a smile, Longao, I have to admit that your talent is enough to show disdain for the entire Chaos Realm. We don't blame you for falling into your hands. However, Longao, you should thank me for being able to come this far. Longao didn't say anything. Not to mention Longao, even Nangong Yin was curious. They didn't know what was going on with Master Godly Mathematician Yibu retreat in order to advance. It was complete nonsense. In the face of absolute strength, all strategies were nonsense. Master Godly Mathematician continued. Back on the Martial Heaven continent, if it hadn't been for my help, you wouldn't have been able to reach your current level. If it hadn't been for my help, your family might have all died. Longao, don't tell me you don't owe me a favor? So that's what it was. He really was shameless to the peak. However, Longao was very clear that Master Godly Mathematician had truly helped him back on the Martial Heaven continent. Although they were now enemies, not friends, this favor still existed. Thinking of that, Longao nodded. You can scram now. Ah! Longao's words stunned Nangongyin. He had never imagined that Master Godly Mathematician would actually be able to persuade Longao. Master Godly Mathematician didn't stay. He turned and left, as if he was afraid that Longao would go back on his word. In the blink of an eye, he vanished without a trace. Nangongyin imitated Master Godly Mathematician. However, before he could say anything, Longao said, Nangongyin, you can scram too. Remember, don't let me see you again in the future. Otherwise, I'll definitely kill you. Nangongyin was pleasantly surprised. How could he dare to stay any longer? He also turned and left. Chapter 3382. Big Brother Long, why did you let them go? Qin Shuang was very curious. She didn't know why Big Brother Long would do this. Under normal circumstances, with the enmity between them, Longao definitely wouldn't let them go. After all, letting a tiger return to the mountain would cause endless trouble. No one knew if the divine mathematician and Nangongyin would reach a higher realm in the future. I can't kill them. Huh? Hearing Longao's words, Qin Shuang was completely dumbfounded. Qin Shuang was very clear about Longao's current strength. He could even fight a Tao confirming Empyrean. Wanting to kill two chaos reincarnation martial artists was simply a matter of minutes. What was going on? Intuition told Qin Shuang that this matter was definitely not as simple as she thought. Why? If it was before, I definitely wouldn't have been able to sense it. After a pause, Longao seemed to be very afraid. Looking at the two people who had already left, he continued, since I touched the power of Source, relying on my powerful primordial spirit, I can clearly sense that whether it is the divine mathematician or Nangongyin, there seems to be movement in their bodies. Qin Shuang was not a fool. How could she not hear it? She was also a little scared. If she rashly attacked and drew out the mysterious power in their bodies, the consequences would be unimaginable. Big Brother Long, can you sense what level of existence the mysterious power in their bodies is? Tao confirming was divided into 4 major realms. Tao confirming martial artist, Tao confirming Empyrean, Tao confirming great emperor, and Tao confirming ruler. As for the 5th realm, which was the peak existence, Tao confirming ruler, it was almost a legendary existence. In other words, whether or not there was a Tao confirming ruler in the chaos realm was still unknown. Thinking about it, Longao said helplessly, it's definitely not a Tao confirming Empyrean. According to my calculations, the power in Nangongyin and Yi Bu should belong to a Tao confirming great emperor. Longao couldn't figure out why there was such a heaven-defying aura in their bodies, so he didn't dare to act rashly. Then what should we do now? I have to master the power of Source as soon as possible. After I break through to Tao confirming Empyrean, I must break through to Tao confirming great emperor in the shortest time possible. In order for a Tao confirming martial artist to break through to become a Tao confirming Empyrean, they had to grasp the power of Source. When a heavenly venerate advanced to become a great emperor, they had to use their origin energy to condense their own origin domain. Qin Shuang did not continue to ask. According to Big Brother Long's talent and potential, Lin Ming believed that in less than 3 years, he would be able to smoothly grasp the strength of Source and advance from a Tao confirming martial artist to a Tao confirming Empyrean. As for when he would be able to break through from Tao confirming heavenly venerate to Tao confirming great emperor, that was unknown. His expression was grave. Cloud Valley. Using a full 3 months' time, Longao set up 999 formations in Cloud Valley. They were interlocked. One after another, he buckled the other. Once a formation was triggered, all 999 formations would be activated. It was obvious what it meant to break the formation. In the following period of time, Longao prepared to help his master, the evil ancestor, Sister Yun, Xiao Qian, and Ling Ruoi to be reborn. If it was before, he definitely wouldn't be able to do it. However, the situation was different now. With his cultivation smoothly breaking through to Dao confirming martial artist, as long as he could truly grasp the strength of Source, he could give it a try. Heavenly Venerate Wanshou, Heavenly Venerate Dark North, and Undying Heavenly Venerate came together. Looking at Cloud Valley in front of them, the three of them also wanted to see how strong this Dao confirming martial artist who could contend with Heavenly Venerate gentleman was. As everyone knew, Dao confirming martial artists couldn't contend with Heavenly Venerates. Even Dao confirming martial artists who had touched upon the strength of Source couldn't do it. It was precisely because of this that the three of them couldn't figure out how Longao did it. How could he contend with Heavenly Venerate gentleman when he had just reached Dao confirming? Of course, they were aware of Heavenly Venerate gentleman's strength, not to mention a Dao confirming martial artist. Even the three of them might not be able to suppress Heavenly Venerate gentleman in a one-on-one battle. After thinking about it, the three of them came up with a reason. That was Longao could contend with Heavenly Venerate gentleman because of his Chaos Divine tool. If the three of them could obtain such a heaven-defying Chaos Divine tool, they would be like a tiger that had grown wings. Longao, are you here? As soon as the voice fell, a figure appeared. Longao looked at the three people in front of him coldly. He was very surprised. Of course, he wasn't unfamiliar with the three of them. The three Dao confirming Heavenly Venerates who had suddenly appeared during his battle with Heavenly Venerate gentlemen were the same three people in front of him. You're looking for me? Heavenly Venerate Dark North smiled and said, Longao, we've heard about your battle with Heavenly Venerate gentlemen. We're very curious and would like to see your two Chaos Divine tools. What do you think? Without any discussion, the three of them had a haughty expression on their faces. This was because Longao had fought against gentlemen and survived. Otherwise, the three of them wouldn't have said a word and would have directly snatched the Chaos Divine tools from other Dao, confirming martial artists. With a disgusted expression, Longao said impatiently, all of you, get lost. You're not qualified to see my Chaos Divine tools. Ah! Looking at the young man in front of them, the three of them were completely dumbfounded. They were Dao confirming Heavenly Venerates. Ever since they became Heavenly Venerates, no one had ever dared to act like this. Moreover, it was a puny Dao confirming martial artist. The three of their faces instantly turned gloomy. Heavenly Venerate Immortal said coldly, Longao, don't be so shameless. Don't think that you're invincible just because you can contend against Heavenly Venerate gentlemen. Today, I'll show you that you're nothing in our eyes. He sneered coldly. Before the three of them could continue speaking, Longao took a step forward. Using his finger as a sword, the surrounding space began to tremble violently. Boom! 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 The moment an expert made a move, one would know whether or not there was anything. Longao had just made a move, and the three people's faces completely changed. The three of them finally knew why the other party dared to be so arrogant. It turned out that Longao had already truly grasped the power of Source and attained the position of Empyrean. Dao confirming Heavenly Venerate, Longao. Boom! 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 Three loud sounds rang out as Longao sent the three of them flying. Just as he was about to give chase, the three of them turned around and fled. How dare a mid-level Dao confirming Heavenly Venerate act in front of me? Dao confirming Heavenly Venerate. Longao already knew that Dao confirming Heavenly Venerates were divided into 4 levels: elementary, intermediate, advanced, and full circle. The 3 Dao confirming Heavenly Venerates, including Heavenly Venerate gentlemen, were all mid-level Dao confirming Heavenly Venerates. Even though he had just broken through, it was too easy for him to defeat mid-level Heavenly Venerates. Just as Longao was about to return to Cloud Valley, he suddenly turned around and looked into the endless void. Not long after, a black that was approaching. P.S. Please bookmark Little Nine's new book, cultivation berserk upgrade. Bookmarking and recommending tickets are too important to Little Nine. Thank you. Chapter 3383. Who are you? An advanced heavenly venerate. The newcomer was a youth with sword-like eyebrows and bright eyes. However, he was a little thin. The youth smiled and said, "You can call me young master. I'm here to invite you to go to the heavenly venerate stele and see our titles." Heavenly venerate stele? What was that? He seemed to be able to see through Longao's thoughts. The young master smiled and said, "When you truly grasp the power of origin and become a heavenly venerate, you can go to the heavenly venerate stele and obtain your own title." So that's how it was. If that was the case, Longao also wanted to see what his title was. "Why are you looking for me?" "I don't like heavenly venerate gentlemen." There was no need to say more. Longao already knew why the young master had come. As the saying goes, the enemy of an enemy is a friend. He also wanted to find heavenly venerate gentlemen, but no matter how hard he tried, it was as if heavenly venerate gentlemen had disappeared from the world. "How about we talk as we walk?" He nodded. Cloud Valley already had 999 formations that were all linked together. No matter who it was, even if it was a Tao-confirming cultivator, they wouldn't be able to do anything. The two of them walked together. Longao asked, "Since you don't like Gentleman's Sword, why don't you kill him?" Longao couldn't figure it out. The young master was an advanced heavenly venerate. With his strength, it wouldn't be difficult for him to kill Gentleman's Sword. The young master smiled helplessly and said, "If Gentleman's Sword was alone, I wouldn't have any problems killing him. However, Gentleman's Sword has a crazy father who is very strong." "Oh." Longao was surprised. He didn't know that Gentleman's Sword had a father. Hearing the young master's words, Gentleman's Sword's father wasn't simple. Gentleman's Sword's father is called Crazy. People call him Heavenly Venerate Crazy. Not only is he strong, but he's also a battle maniac. If you provoke him, unless you kill him, he'll pester you every day. Hearing this, Longao knew that the young master had suffered a loss. It was really a troublesome matter. A perfected heavenly venerate was basically invincible among heavenly venerates of the same level. Brother Dragon, listen to my advice. Unless you have no other choice, don't fight against the noble sword user. How could Longao not know what the young master meant? He snorted coldly in his heart. So what if the gentleman's sword has a consummate, celestial, venerable father? Those who provoked him had to be killed. Seeing Longao's expression, the young master had already guessed what the other party was thinking. He didn't say anything else. The exalted celestial tablet was located in the chaotic space. As long as one became a Tao confirming Empyrean, they would come before the Empyrean stone stele to obtain their name. When Longao and young master arrived, there was no one around. There weren't many Empyreans in the primal chaos space. Even after many years, there might not be a single Empyrean who could become a Tao-confirming martial artist. "Please." "All right, I'll start first." The young master smiled and didn't stand on ceremony. He came before the sky-piercing stone stele and poured his aura into it. As long as a Tao-confirming heavenly venerate poured his origin energy into the sky-piercing stone stele, his name would appear. After the origin energy entered the sky-piercing stone stele, the sky-piercing stone stele released a stream of air that slowly rose above the young master's head and formed two words: Cloud Devourer. Young master, Empyrean Cloud Devourer. He not bad. Longao also felt that the young master's name was pretty good. Empyrean Cloud Devourer was domineering enough. Brother Dragon, give it a try. Longao also smiled. Seeing the two words disappear, Longao also felt a little impatient. He also wanted to see what his name was. When he came before the sky-piercing stone stele, he stretched out his right hand and poured his origin energy into the sky-piercing stone stele. Under normal circumstances, it would only take a few minutes for a Tao-confirming heavenly venerate to obtain a name. However, since Longao poured his origin energy into the sky-piercing stone stele, 3 days and 3 nights had passed in the blink of an eye. There was still no movement. Not to mention the young master. Even Longao was a little shocked. He really couldn't figure out why his name still hadn't appeared. It was a little strange. His cultivation base had smoothly broken through to Tao, confirming heavenly venerate. When he poured his origin energy into the sky-piercing stone steel, his name would appear. But now, 3 days and 3 nights had passed, and there was no signal at all. How could he not be anxious? It's out. The young master was very nervous. After all, from ancient times until now, no Tao confirming heavenly venerate had ever come before the sky-piercing stone steel. Longao could be said to be the first person to do so. He also wanted to see what Longao's name was. A large amount of airflow began to emerge from the sky-piercing stone steel and began to gather above Longao's head. His name didn't appear immediately, but the airflow gathering became more and more intense. It still didn't appear. Longao was also depressed to the extreme. He continued to pour his origin energy into the sky-piercing stone steel. The sky-piercing stone steel was like a bottomless pit. No matter how he poured his origin energy, the sky-piercing stone steel would swallow it all. A genius. The young master also sighed. He could almost say that as Longao didn't fall and continued to develop, he believed that in the future, not only would he become a peak heavenly venerate, but he might even become a Tao-confirming great emperor. The young master was very clear what it meant to become a Tao-confirming great emperor. Every Tao-confirming great emperor was a famous existence in the chaos space. All Tao-confirming heavenly venerates dreamed of becoming a Tao-confirming great emperor. The young master knew that his talent was enough to show disdain for his peers. He was also the one with the highest hopes of becoming a Tao-confirming great emperor. Unfortunately, for countless years, he hadn't even been able to become a peak heavenly venerate. Wanting to become a Tao-confirming great emperor was still a long way off. No one knew when they would be able to become a Tao-confirming great emperor. It was also because of this that the young master rejoiced in his decision. Befriending a genius was always better than being an enemy. Longao was still pouring his origin energy into the sky-piercing stone steel. The sky-piercing stone steel didn't respond. The black gas floating above Longao's head didn't dissipate for a long time. It also didn't show its name. It was as if one person and one steel were in a deadlock. It was very helpless. For a moment, Longao didn't know what to do. Even if he wanted to retreat, he was afraid of suffering a backlash from the sky-piercing stone steel. It was better to be safe than sorry. If he really suffered a backlash from the sky-piercing stone steel, the consequences would be unimaginable. What should he do? Longao was very helpless, but he was even more anxious. P.S. Support Little Nine's new book, Cultivation Rampage Upgrade. Bookmark it. Recommend it. Chapter 3384. 3 years passed by in the blink of an eye. Just as Longao was about to leave, the airflow that was floating above his head started to gather slowly. The young master was extremely nervous. He wanted to see just what Longao's Heavenly Lord title was. 3 years. #1 in all of history. This was the first time something like this had ever happened before. It was hard to imagine just how special Longao's Heavenly Lord title was. Heavenly Lord Devouring Cloud, Young Master. Longao could feel the airflow above his head gathering continuously. His face was filled with anticipation. Just what was his Heavenly Lord title? The airflow started to gather. Boom, 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 boom. Suddenly, thunderclouds gathered in the surroundings. Lightning flashed and thunder roared. The airflow within the thunderclouds began to churn continuously. Looking at this, the young master was dumbfounded. Brother Long, you must be careful. Lin Fan nodded. Longao did not dare to move at all. After all, he was locked down by the airflow. If he dared to move, he knew what would happen. Crack, 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 crack. A series of thunderbolts coiled around Longao's body. Gradually, They formed a lightning dragon that was tens of thousands of feet long. Rearing its head, it roared out into the skies. The young master stumbled back hurriedly. His face was filled with fear and disbelief. He had never seen or heard of anything that was happening before the Heavenly Lordstone tablet. This was especially the case for this lightning dragon that was emitting a frightening aura. Even he was afraid of it. That's right, afraid. But one had to know that he was a true high-level Heavenly Lord. Even if it were a full cultivation Heavenly Lord, he wouldn't be afraid of it. In fact, the young master even had a feeling that this lightning dragon that was coiling around Longao could destroy him in a matter of minutes. It's starting to appear. The airflow above Longao's head started to gather slowly in the midst of the thunderbolts. Two shiny golden words suddenly appeared. In the midst of the thunderbolts, they were extremely eye-catching. Looking at the two words, the young master was completely stunned. His face was filled with disbelief. Above Longao's head, the two words formed by the airflow were God of War. Empyrean title, War God. Heavenly Venerable War God, also known as War God Longao. The title of Empyrean was domineering enough. If he hadn't seen it with his own eyes, he would have found it hard to believe that there was such a domineering title of Empyrean. War God, Empyrean War God. The two words War God remained there for several hours before slowly disappearing. Following that, the dense thunderclouds, lightning, and thunder also disappeared. Brother Long, congratulations. I really didn't think that your Empyrean title would be Battle God. What a tyrannical Empyrean title. He nodded with a smile. Longao also never thought that his Empyrean title would actually be the two words War God. It was truly incomparably tyrannical. Brother Long, when you first obtained the celestial venerate title, what exactly was the divine dragon that gathered lightning? If it was someone else, they definitely wouldn't ask such a question. However, the young master treated Longao as a friend, and Longao also treated the young master as a friend, so he didn't blame him at all. He smiled. Young master, I would like to spar with you. I wonder if you are willing? Ah? The young master seemed a little surprised because he was very confident in his own strength. He was a peak advanced Empyrean. He was only one step away from becoming a peak Empyrean. He was full of confidence. With his current strength, he was invincible among martial artists of the same level, not to mention that Longao was just a junior Empyrean. The gap between a junior Empyrean and a senior Empyrean was too great. Yes, I also want to test Brother Long's strength. Longao's body suddenly released a powerful source of power. After sensing it, the young master's face suddenly changed. In a short 3 years, Longao had already become a mid-level Dao, confirming Empyrean. No wonder he was so confident and wanted to spar with him. Even so, Longao didn't seem to be his opponent. He felt that it was too ridiculous. After all, the gap between an intermediate Empyrean and a senior Empyrean was very large. Please, please. In the next second, Longao and the young master's bodies started to move. They exchanged blows and started to attack crazily. The source energy that the two of them used was very terrifying. As they collided with each other, sparks flew everywhere. At the beginning, the young master indeed did not put Longao in his eyes. However, when the battle had just begun, the young master was shocked to discover that Longao's strength was really strong. He was actually able to forcibly resist himself. On the other hand, Longao also felt the young master's strength. Under the peak Empyrean, the young master was the strongest existence. It was almost certain that if the young master could become a peak Empyrean, he would be almost invincible under the Empyrean realm. The strength of the young master was too strong. At this time, Longao began to use the martial skill that he had created. The surrounding space began to tremble violently. The young master's complexion changed abruptly. His face was full of disbelief. It was too scary. Using the martial technique, the strength of the two was almost the same. No one could do anything to the other. Brother Long, you are really strong. You and I can't do anything to each other. Let's forget about this battle. Longao smiled and shook his head. He said with a smile, I have comprehended a technique in front of the Empyrean Realm stone tablet. I want to try it. Please. The young master was stunned for a moment. He was also looking forward to it. Being able to comprehend the martial technique in front of the Empyrean Realm stone tablet. He knew what it meant. The young master was also a battle maniac. Of course, he wanted to see how heaven-defying Longao's martial technique was. Longao smiled. His body began to release the terrifying power of thunder and lightning. Rumble, 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 rumble. The sound of thunder and lightning constantly resounded throughout the 9 heavens. A 1,000,000 feet long thunder and lightning divine dragon appeared, revolving around Longao's body. It constantly roared towards the sky. At this moment, Longao seemed to have come from the thunder and lightning. Wait, quickly stop. Longao was very curious. However, he still stopped and asked curiously, Young master, what's wrong? The young master said with lingering fear, All right, I also know what martial technique you sensed in front of the Empyrean Realm stone tablet. There is no need for a battle. I know very well that I am no longer your match. As for whether a consummation Empyrean Realm Venerate is your match, I don't know. If you want to see how powerful this martial technique is, you should go find a consummation Empyrean Realm Venerate. The young master sighed. He knew too well how heaven-defying Longao's technique was. In any case, he wasn't Longao's match. As for whether a consummation Empyrean Realm Venerate was a match for Longao, it was still unknown. Young master, you said before that the gentleman's sword's father was a consummation Empyrean Realm Venerate. P.S. I support Little Nine's new book Cultivation Berserk upgrade. Please collect it. Chapter 3385. Heavenly Venerate Lunatic, Jun Wuyin. The gentleman's sword's father was a battle maniac. Otherwise, he wouldn't have been called lunatic on the Heavenly Venerate tablet. The young master smiled. Longao smiled as well. Others might not know where Heavenly Venerate Lunatic was, but the young master knew. Back when the young master had become an advanced Heavenly Venerate, he had shamelessly challenged Heavenly Venerate Lunatic. In the end, the young master had been utterly defeated. This was the difference between an advanced Heavenly Venerate and a perfected Heavenly Venerate. Heavenly Venerate Junzi had gone into hiding ever since that battle. He had a feeling that Longao's might was not what he could provoke at all. Longao had only just become a Heavenly Venerate, but he could already contend with him. If he waited until Longao became a Heavenly Venerate, he wouldn't be his opponent at all. He was only an intermediate Heavenly Venerate, so he immediately went into seclusion to cultivate, hoping to become an advanced Heavenly Venerate as soon as possible. Floating Mountain. Heavenly Venerate Junzi didn't know why, but he had been having a bad premonition recently. He felt that something was about to happen. Father, do you think Longao will come looking for us? Jun Wuyin was stunned, as if he didn't understand what his son meant. What do you mean? Heavenly Venerate Junzi didn't dare to hide anything. He roughly recounted what had happened back then. Ji Wuyin's face was very gloomy. It was as ugly as it could get. He finally knew why his son suddenly returned to the floating mountain 3 years ago. It turned out that it was to avoid this so-called Longao. He knew his son's strength very well. His son could practically sweep through anyone of the same level, but he had actually lost to a kid who had just become a Heavenly Venerate. Was this true? If his son hadn't said it himself, he wouldn't have believed it even if he was beaten to death. You said that Longao has a Chaos Divine artifact? Yes. If it weren't for that, I wouldn't have been unable to defeat him. The defensive Chaos Divine artifact on him is really heaven-defying. Why didn't you tell me before? Father, you've been in seclusion all this time. Jun Wuyin did not continue to blame him. He knew his character very well. As long as he was in closed-door cultivation, even his own son was not allowed to disturb him. However, Jun Wuyin felt helpless as he looked at his son in front of him. As a dignified mid-level Dao validation, Heavenly Venerate, he was actually so afraid of a martial artist who had just validated his Dao. It was only 3 years. Jun Huiyin simply didn't believe that a martial artist who had just reached Dao confirming could advance to become a Dao confirming Empyrean in just 3 years. Are you afraid that he will come to the floating mountain? Although he knew that this was impossible, for some reason, Heavenly Venerate Junzi felt that the Longao wouldn't let this matter rest. He had been too nonsensical. When he saw that his son was not speaking, Ji Huiyin felt an indescribable anger. As a perfected Dao validation Heavenly Venerate, he might be able to advance to Dao validation Great Emperor one day. However, his son was so useless. However, before Ji Huiyin could say anything, a cold snort came from outside. Immediately after, Celestial Venerable Gentleman, come out and face your death. Celestial Venerable Gentleman, come out and accept your death. Celestial Venerable Gentleman, come out and face your death. The voice rolled out and spread throughout the floating mountain. Hearing the voice from outside, Heavenly Venerate Junzi's face completely changed. It was true that whatever he was afraid of would happen. He never thought that the Longao would really come to find him. It was hard to imagine. A brat who had just validated his Dao 3 years ago actually dared to attack the floating mountain. This was simply an act of suicide. Everyone knew that the floating mountain was his father's base camp. It was the place where a perfected Dao confirming Heavenly Venerate cultivated in seclusion. This is Longao. Father, since Longao dares to attack, he definitely has the strength to kill me. What should I do now? Shut up, you useless thing. You've lost all my face. Looking at his son who was so close to him, Ji Huiyin simply wanted to kill him. Come with me. Even if Heavenly Venerate Junzi didn't want to, he didn't dare to say anything. He slowly followed his father out. When the two arrived outside, Heavenly Venerate Junzi calmed down. What was he afraid of? This was too ridiculous. Even if he wasn't a match for Longao, could it be that his father couldn't deal with him? His father was a genuine perfected Dao, confirming Heavenly Venerate, the strongest existence under the Dao confirming Great Emperor. Not to mention Longao, who had just validated his Dao. Even if he encountered a perfected Dao confirming Heavenly Venerate of the same level, his father wouldn't have the slightest fear. You're Longao? Then, Ji Huiyin looked at the young master beside Longao and said coldly, Young master, it seems like you don't know what's good for you. Back then, you weren't a match for me. I'm a magnanimous person, yet you still dare to come and seek death. Do you think that I won't dare to kill you just because your father is a perfected Dao confirming great perfection? Hearing Ji Huiyin's words, Longao was surprised. So, the young master's background wasn't simple. He actually had a perfected Dao confirming Heavenly Venerate. The young master snorted coldly, not putting Ji Huiyin in his eyes at all. He sneered and said, Ji Huiyin, don't waste time with me here. I know I'm not a match for you, but Brother Long can kill you. I hope you can survive this time. Ha ha, with just him? Looking at Longao beside the young master, Ji Huiyin's face was full of mockery. Even if 3 years had passed, he didn't believe that Longao could become a Dao confirming Heavenly Venerate. 3 years. Could Longao break through from a Dao confirming martial artist to a Dao confirming Heavenly Venerate? That was complete nonsense. It was almost impossible. Even the most talented martial artist in the chaos space couldn't do it. A puny Dao confirming martial artist dares to say that he can defeat my father? Young master, are you out of your mind? Gentleman Sword, why don't you fight with Brother Long? I'll bet my life. As long as you can withstand a single blow from Brother Long, I'll kill myself right here. How about that? Huh? The young master's words not only stunned Gentleman Sword, but even Ji Huiyin was stunned. If the young master was so confident, it meant that this person's strength had increased significantly in the past 3 years. But even if they were beaten to death, they wouldn't believe that a mid-level Dao confirming Heavenly Venerate couldn't even withstand a single blow from a Dao confirming martial artist. If word of this were to spread out, no one would believe it. It would be complete nonsense. Ha 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 ha. All right, I'll see how you'll kill yourself in front of me today. Young master, you must remember your words. P.S. Everyone, please support Little Nine's new book, Cultivation Berserk Upgrade. Chapter 3386. Jun Wuyin didn't say anything to stop him. In his opinion, this was complete nonsense. There was almost no surprise. His son was a mid-level Dao confirming celestial venerable, while the other party was only a Dao confirming martial artist. Even if he could contend against his son, it was impossible for him to win in one move. It was simply a joke. He would be a fool if he believed it. Gentleman Sword stepped forward and looked coldly at Longao in front of him. He said mockingly, "Longao, I hope you won't disappoint me. One move. I want to see how you can defeat me in one move." The young master took a few steps back. "Take this." He didn't want to talk nonsense. Longao directly punched out. It was an ordinary punch. At this moment, when they sensed the powerful aura released by Longao, regardless of whether it was the noble sword or Jun Wuyin, their expressions changed completely. Mid-level Dao confirming celestial venerable. It had only been 3 years. The two of them were completely dumbfounded because they never thought that Longao would break through from a Dao confirming martial artist to a mid-level Dao confirming celestial venerable in just 3 years. If they hadn't seen it with their own eyes, they wouldn't have believed it even if they were beaten to death. This kind of talent was enough to surpass his peers and look down on the chaotic realm. Back then, Jun Wuyin also thought that his talent was strong, but it was impossible for him to break through from a Dao confirming martial artist to a mid-level Dao confirming celestial venerable in 3 years. I don't believe it. So what if the other party was a mid-level Dao confirming celestial venerable? He still didn't believe that he couldn't even withstand one move. It was too ridiculous. Boom. Longao could almost kill any mid-level Dao confirming celestial venerable in an instant. Gentleman Sword didn't even have the strength to resist before he was ruthlessly hit by the other party. There was a loud bang. Heavenly Venerate Gentleman finally realized that the other party had set up a trap and was waiting for him to fall into it. His primordial spirit was directly enveloped by a terrifying force. Gentleman Sword discovered it too late. From beginning to end, Longao simply wanted to kill Heavenly Venerable Gentleman. With a single punch, Heavenly Venerable Gentleman's body was torn apart and turned into a cloud of blood mist. Even his primordial spirit was completely destroyed and disappeared without a trace. Jun Wuyin was completely dumbfounded. He didn't even have time to react before his son was completely killed. Immense anger filled his entire body. Longao, I'm going to tear you to shreds. Jun Wuyin's celestial venerable title was Madman. Madman Celestial Venerable fought without any regard for his own life. What's more, he had to watch his own son being beheaded. The most important thing was his son had been successfully killed right under his nose. He was a genuine great man Garden Dao confirming Heavenly Venerate. Under the great Emperor Dao confirming Heavenly Venerate, he was invincible. In the blink of an eye, the two of them were already fighting fiercely. They had already put away their previous contempt. Jun Wuyin finally knew that the young master was so confident that he even gambled with his own life. It turned out that he was already prepared. Longao's might was already comparable to a high-level Dao corroboration Empyrean. But wanting to contend with him, it was still a little insufficient to look at. Boom, 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 boom. A 1,000,000 feet long Thunder God Dragon appeared around Longao's body. Looking at Longao finally using this move, the young master was filled with anticipation. They wanted to see if the other party could truly go against a Dao corroboration Empyrean of full cultivation. The young master felt that he was no match for the other party, especially under this move. Even if it were him, he would definitely die without a doubt. The young master was even clearer that if Longao could truly defeat Madman Celestial Venerable, then without a doubt, he would be the #1 person under the Dao corroboration Emperor Dao. Jun Wuyin was stunned as well. Naturally, he could sense how heaven-defying this move of the other party was. There was a loud boom. Jun Wuyin still punched out fiercely. But even so, Longao was unfazed. Laughing coldly, he waved out with both hands. A gigantic thunder god dragon reared its head and roared into the skies, enveloping Jun Wuyin in a frenzy. Ugh! Spitting out a mouthful of fresh blood, Jun Wuyin resisted the thunder god dragon with all his might. Without any resistance, he was devoured by the thunder god dragon. Even though the young master already knew that this move of Longao was not to be underestimated, he was still shocked to find out that this move of Longao's was way too sick. In fact, Jun Wuyin could not even defend against it. The thunder god dragon began to devour madly. Gradually, Jun Wuyin could not hold on any longer. If this were to carry on, he would definitely be devoured by the thunder god dragon in less than a minute. What a horrifying power! Had this man really just attained his Tao for 3 years? Even for him, who knew how many years it had taken for him to attain the strength he had today. But under such circumstances, no matter how unwilling Jun Wuyin was, he could only choose to give up. Turning around, he pushed his speed to the limit as fast as he could. "Young master, I'll be right back." Longao shot out like an arrow. The two of them, one in front and one behind, were so fast that they disappeared without a trace in the blink of an eye. The young master wanted to chase after them, but he helplessly found that the two of them were too fast. He could not even distinguish between them, so how could he chase after them? He was really helpless. The gap between me and the two of them is still not small. It seems that I have to break through to the peak as soon as possible. The young master looked helpless. Originally, he was very confident in his talent and strength, but after seeing Longao, the young master was completely defeated. "Longao, how dare you chase after me?" Jun Wuyin never thought that Longao would really dare to chase after him. Ever since he had become a heavenly venerate, such a thing had never happened, especially after reaching the peak. Let alone a mere mid-peak heavenly venerate. Even heavenly venerates of the same level wouldn't dare to chase after him. Longao didn't say anything. Instead, he sped up. In any case, he had already killed heavenly venerate Junzi, so killing Jun Wuyin wouldn't make a difference. He wanted to cut the weeds and eliminate the roots. Longao was very clear that if he didn't strike while the iron was hot, he would be in big trouble. But it had to be known. Jun Wuyin was not only heavenly venerate madman, but also a peak heavenly venerate. The two of them moved faster and faster, constantly shuttling through the primal chaos space. The primal chaos space was boundless, but even the primal chaos world was within it. It was easy to imagine just how big the primal chaos space was. Look, isn't that heavenly venerate madman? Yes. Someone actually dares to chase after heavenly venerate madman, and a mere mid-peak heavenly venerate at that. It's hard to believe, but Jun Wuyin is a peak heavenly venerate. Are my eyes playing tricks on me? Even heavenly venerate madman has such a day. This feels great. Everyone who saw the two of them chasing after each other couldn't help but sigh. P.S. I support Little Nine's new book, Cultivation Berserk Upgrade. Everyone please collect it first. Chapter 3387. His face was completely lost. Jun Wuyin was very angry. His face became more and more gloomy, very ugly. Such a shameful thing had never happened in so many years. Unknowingly, the two came to the nether realm one after another. Without even thinking about it, Jun Wuyin took a big stride, and his figure instantly disappeared at the entrance. Tao confirming heavenly venerables could enter and leave the nether realm at will. Of course, Longao would not choose to give up. Immediately after, he also entered the nether realm. Heavenly venerable netherworld, quickly show yourself. Madman, you are really trash to the extreme. At this moment, a figure appeared, dressed in blood-red clothes, giving people an extremely strange and indifferent feeling. Heavenly venerable netherworld? Looking at the blood-red man beside Jun Wuyin, Longao was not the slightest bit surprised. Since he confirmed his Tao, he already knew that the nether realm was not as simple as he imagined. Sure enough, in the nether realm, there was really a Tao confirming heavenly venerable overseeing. Not only was it a Tao confirming heavenly venerable, but it was also a great perfection Tao confirming heavenly venerable, no different from Jun Wuyin. Madman, what's going on? Jun Wuyin had an expression of wanting to say something but hesitated. For him, this matter was simply too shameful. He was actually chased by a small intermediate Tao, confirming heavenly venerable. However, at this time, only by telling the truth could he join hands with heavenly venerable netherworld. Under the two of them joining hands, they might be able to smoothly kill Longao. After hearing Madman's words, heavenly venerable netherworld laughed crazily and said with a smile, "Madman, I really admire you. Your heavenly venerable title is Madman. It really is." At this point, heavenly venerable netherworld did not continue to speak, but the meaning of his words was already very clear. Longao, I remember that you once entered the nether realm and had some small friction with Yulin. That's right, Yulin? Longao originally planned to wait until there was a chance in the future to enter the nether realm, find Yulin, and kill him completely, but now it seemed that before he left, he had to deal with this person as soon as possible. I've already killed Yulin, no need to trouble you. Ah. Longao, of course, knew that the 5 realm lords of the nether realm were all subordinates of heavenly venerable netherworld and controlled the entire nether realm. If that was the case, why would heavenly venerate netherworld do such a thing? As if he could guess what Longao was thinking, Lord Nether smiled and said, I want to be friends with you. I wonder if Brother Long is willing? Instantly, Longao had already guessed that Netherworld Exalted Celestial Venerate had killed Yulin because of the confrontation between him and Gentleman Exalted Celestial Venerate. Emperor Netherworld was really a very terrifying person. Longao naturally knew that this kind of person was the most dangerous, hiding a knife behind a smile. My pleasure. Hearing Emperor Netherworld's words, Jun Wuyin's face instantly darkened. Netherworld, what is the meaning of this? Madman, you're my friend. Brother Long is also my friend now. You should know that it's very difficult for me. Lord Yoming's meaning was very clear. Ji Wuyin was not a fool. How could he not understand? He sneered and said, very well. Goodbye. Want to leave? Longao said and was about to attack, but Lord Yuming waved his hand and said with a smile, Brother Long, I just said that Madman is my friend. You're also my friend. I can ignore it outside, but in the end, this is the nether realm. So I asked the two of you to give me face and not fight here. Lord Yuming wanted to be a good person and not provoke anyone. How could Longao not understand Lord Yuming's intention? He sneered and said coldly, Lord Yuming, I treat you as a friend. Don't think that I'm a fool. Who do you think you are? I advise you not to interfere in this matter. Otherwise, you will also die. Do you understand? Longao's words not only made Empyrean Netherworld dumbfounded. Even the 100-year-old Jun Wuyin was completely shocked. He had seen arrogant people, but he had never seen such an arrogant person. Perhaps he was not the opponent of the other party, but Lord Yuming was also a perfected Tao confirming heavenly venerate. If the two of them joined forces, the chances of killing the other party were too high. Longao, do you really think you can compete with the two of us? Without waiting for heavenly venerable Netherworld to finish his words, Longao directly attacked. He did not give the two of them any chance to talk nonsense at all. Rumble, rumble, rumble. At the same time as the thunder and lightning sounded, the 100 feet long thunder and lightning divine dragon appeared and began to attack wildly. Lord Yuming was completely dumbfounded. He had never seen such a crazy person. Without saying anything, he directly attacked. The two of them were great full garden Tao confirming heavenly venerates. Madman, what are you waiting for? Hurry up and attack. Jun Wuyin had personally experienced the strength of the other party. How could he dare to hesitate? In the blink of an eye, the 3 Tao confirming heavenly venerates began to fight frantically. If it were an ordinary Tao confirming heavenly venerate, facing 2 perfected Tao confirming heavenly venerates at the same time, they would not even be able to withstand 3 moves. However, the two of them encountered Longao. Although he was only a mid-level Tao confirming heavenly venerate, his power was enough to shake the great full garden Tao confirming heavenly venerates. In the beginning, heavenly venerable netherworld was only afraid of Longao. However, as the battle continued to escalate, heavenly venerable netherworld was completely shocked. He had never thought that the strength of the other party would be so powerful. In particular, this illusory thunder and lightning dragon could even devour their bodies, primordial spirit, blood essence, Dantian. This kind of heaven-defying martial skill was really unheard of. Under the situation of 1 against 2, not only did Longao not lose the slightest bit, he even began to gradually take the initiative. The more the two fought, the more helpless they became. The more the fight, the more frightened they became. Longao's strength had far exceeded their scope of understanding. Boom, boom. The two of them could no longer resist and were directly sent flying. The thunder and lightning dragon disappeared, and Longao's chi and blood were also tumbling in his body. It was no wonder that two perfected Tao, confirming heavenly venerates, had joined forces. He alone was not enough to kill the two of them at the same time. Lord Yuming resisted the waves of weakness that came from his body. He had never seen such an abnormal person. It was really incredible. Although he was unwilling to admit it, the fact was in front of him. The strength of the other party had far exceeded his scope of understanding. There was no need to continue the battle. He knew very well that as long as they went all out, the two of them could not be the opponent of the other party. Junhuiyan was not surprised at all. He had just witnessed Longao's strength with his own eyes. However, he never thought that Longao could fight against two of them at the same time. Lord Yuming, you'd better get out of here. Chapter 3388. Heavenly Lord Netherworld's face was grim to the extreme. He had never thought that Longao's strength would be this strong. It was far beyond his knowledge. When he joined forces with the lunatic, no one of the same level could be their match. Longao was only a mid-level Tao confirming Heavenly Lord, but he could fight against two of them. In the end, the other party's martial skill was too heaven-defying. The thunder and lightning divine dragon devoured. If it was a one-on-one fight, Longao could completely kill them. Even though he was unwilling to believe it, the truth was right before his eyes. Longao, this place has always been the netherworld. Ha ha ha, ha ha ha, ha ha ha. Longao laughed crazily towards the sky. Netherworld? Whether it was the chaos world or the netherworld, or even the chaos space, strength spoke. Whoever had the biggest fist could rule everything. The strong reigned supreme, and the weak were prey to the strong. Netherworld, are you out of your mind? I'll give you one last chance. If you scram now, I can let bygones be bygones. If you don't, you'll die just like the lunatic. If Longao had dared to say such words before this, Heavenly Lord Netherworld would have snorted in contempt. Just a mere mid-level Tao confirming Heavenly Lord. Not to mention the two of them. Any full-circle Tao confirming Heavenly Lord or any other high-level Tao confirming Heavenly Lord would not put the other party in their eyes. But the result? Longao's strength was a little sick. Until now, he could not figure out how Longao could be so strong. The last time Longao entered the netherworld, how long had it been since then? Leave? Stay? If he left now, not only would he anger the lunatic, but if this matter were to spread out, where would his face go? If he did not leave, with Longao's madness, he would definitely deal with him. Not leaving? Longao did not want to continue talking nonsense. The lunatic had to be killed, not to mention Heavenly Lord Netherworld. Even if a Tao confirming Emperor came, he would kill him without hesitation. Hold on. Wait your mother. Longao did not care about anything else. He immediately began to attack crazily. Each move was faster than the previous one. He did not give Empyrean Nether any chance to catch his breath. Madman, are you just going to watch? Netherworld Skylord was thoroughly enraged. Previously, he had helped Lunatic Skylord. Otherwise, he wouldn't have provoked Longao. But now he was being suppressed by Longao. Lunatic Skylord stood aside and watched the show as if nothing had happened. He was filled with regret. In the face of life and death, face was nothing. Now Longao was like a dogskin plaster. Both of them were no match for Longao, let alone him alone. It was too ridiculous. At this moment, Heavenly Lord Nether was truly afraid. Jun Wuyan's face was also very gloomy. Should he make a move? Longao's strength was needless to say. Even if the two of them joined forces, they would not be a match for him. If he were to choose to leave at this moment, with Heavenly Lord Nether involved, he believed that he would definitely be able to leave successfully. But if he were to really do that, and if Heavenly Lord Nether did not die, he would definitely not rest until he was dead. Furthermore, something like this was not too honorable. If not for him, Heavenly Lord Nether would not have provoked such a strong enemy. If he did not leave now, he would miss out on this once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. If he wanted to leave later on, it would not be that easy anymore. Leave? Stay? Looking at how Ji Wuyan did not make a move, Heavenly Lord Nether was no fool. How could he not know what the other party was thinking? He was enraged. But what could he do even if he was enraged? Boom, 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 boom. The sound of thunder and lightning resounded throughout the 9 heavens. A 10,000 zhang long thunder and lightning appeared all around Longao's body. He faced the sky and roared unceasingly. Looking at the thunder and lightning divine dragon that appeared in front of him, Jun Wuyan quivered and shivered. Madman! F***CK, your mother! Looking at the madman's swift departure, Heavenly Lord Nether was completely flabbergasted. He had not expected that the madman would really choose to leave. If he had known that this would happen, he would have left first. But now, this move of Longao's was something that even the two of them would not be able to defend against, let alone him. Thinking about it, he knew what this meant. Under such circumstances, if he were to say that he was not afraid, he would be lying. Between Heavenly Lord Madman and Heavenly Lord Nether, Longao chose to kill Heavenly Lord Nether without hesitation. That was because he knew that Heavenly Lord Nether was more sinister. If he were to leave this person alive, he would definitely become a huge thorn in his side in the future. And it was precisely because of this that Longao did not chase after Jun Wuyan even as he watched him leave. Instead, he locked on a Heavenly Lord Nether and was prepared to kill him. He was completely afraid now. Longao, I surrender. Please spare my life. I will no longer interfere in the grudge between you and the madman. Moreover, I will try my best to compensate you for your loss. How about it? In the face of absolute strength, Heavenly Lord Nether could only choose to admit defeat. He knew very well that Longao did not chase after the madman, which meant that he had already decided to kill him. If he did not admit defeat now, only death awaited him. Too late, since things had already come to this. How could Longao easily choose to let Heavenly Lord Nether go? He could almost be sure that with Heavenly Lord Nether's character, as long as he did not kill him today, then in the future, Heavenly Lord Nether would definitely bring him endless trouble. To cut the weeds and eliminate the roots, Longao would never leave himself any trouble. Ever since he comprehended this move from the Heavenly Lord Steel, he was very confident in his strength. As long as he did not encounter a great Emperor of Tao Validation, then he was almost an invincible existence under the great Emperor of Tao Validation. This move actually had a total of 3 moves. He had only comprehended the first move, Devouring the Heavens. This move was indeed incomparably powerful. Even if he faced 2 great perfection Tao Validation martial artists at the same time, he could easily defeat them. If he encountered a great perfection Tao Validation Heavenly Lord alone, Longao had full confidence that this move was enough to destroy any great perfection Tao Validation Heavenly Lord. Originally, Longao was pleasantly surprised and excited that he had created a new great perfection Tao Validation martial technique by fusing 3 great perfection Tao Validation martial techniques. Suddenly, he comprehended Devouring the Heavens and was pleasantly surprised to the extreme. In front of devouring the heavens, the great perfection Tao validation martial techniques that he had created before were like garbage. Devouring the heavens could devour everything, including the blood essence, the body, the primordial spirit, and the dantian. At this moment, Heavenly Lord Nether was completely desperate. Ever since he had become a great perfection Tao validation Heavenly Lord, he had never encountered such a situation. In front of an insignificant great perfection Tao validation Heavenly Lord, he did not even have a chance to resist. It was even unbelievable. Longao, go to hell. Just as Longao was about to kill Heavenly Lord Nether, the entire space began to tremble, and a terrifying force instantly descended. Origin Domain, Great Emperor of Tao Validation. Feeling the origin domain that appeared around him, Heavenly Lord Nether was instantly pleasantly surprised. He had been in despair, but he did not expect that a great Emperor of Tao Validation would appear. Chapter 3389. Tao confirming Great Emperor was to condense the origin power into a domain that belonged to one's own origin. The reason why a Tao confirming Great Emperor was invincible was that within his own origin domain, he was the most powerful existence. Longao certainly knew that there must be a Tao confirming Great Emperor in the chaos space. But what he didn't expect was, at this moment, there was actually a Tao confirming Great Emperor. Could it be that Heavenly Sovereign Yu Ming was related to this Tao confirming Great Emperor? Your Excellency, please show mercy. At this moment, an ethereal voice came in an instant. He was very surprised. It was obviously the origin domain that had descended, but the Tao confirming Great Emperor didn't appear. Could it be that it wasn't the real body that had descended? Longao didn't know much about the Tao confirming Great Emperor, but in his opinion, since the origin domain had descended, then the Tao confirming Great Emperor should have descended. But the result? Longao, you can't kill me. This is the Tian Fa Great Emperor. If you dare to kill me, no matter where you go, you will be killed by the Tian Fa Great Emperor. Tian Fa Great Emperor? He had never heard of it, but he knew what it meant to be a Tao confirming Great Emperor. If it was someone else, since the Tao confirming Great Emperor had spoken, then they would more or less have to give face to the Tao confirming Great Emperor and show mercy. Except for Longao. With a sneer, he looked indifferently at Heavenly Sovereign Yu Ming in front of him, who had been locked by his devoured sky, and said coldly, Yu Ming, today, not to mention a Tao confirming Great Emperor. Even if a Tao confirming Great Emperor descends, no one can save you. I now declare kill. Hearing these words, Heavenly Lord Netherworld was completely stunned. His face was dull. Did he hear it wrong? Since the Great Emperor of Tian Fa had spoken, in his opinion, even if Longao was unwilling, he must give face to the Great Emperor of Tian Fa. But the result? Longao didn't care about the Tian Fa Great Emperor at all. Was this person's brain flooded with water? In Heavenly Sovereign Yu Ming's opinion, Longao must be crazy. The Tao confirming Great Emperor was an unparalleled existence in the chaos space. Except for the Tao confirming Imperial family. Who could suppress him? You'd better not make a move. If you dare to make a move, no matter where you run to, I will kill you. Really? Longao was almost certain that although the origin domain had descended, it was very thin. If there were no accidents, this so-called Heavenly Punishment Emperor must still be very far away. What terrifying strength! Longao could be considered to have truly witnessed the terror of a Tao confirming Heavenly Emperor. Even from such a long distance, they could still descend their own power. Longao, I was wrong just now. I can make a Tao affirmation oath. From now on, I will never be your enemy as long as you let me go. What do you think? Even the Heavenly Punishment Emperor couldn't do anything. He finally knew how crazy Longao was. He was too arrogant. The Heavenly Punishment Great Emperor was also a perfected Tao confirming Celestial Venerate. He had a good relationship with Netherworld Celestial Venerate. This time, The heavenly punishment Great Emperor had come to the netherworld realm to find netherworld celestial venerate for some matters. He had not expected that a puny intermediate Tao confirming celestial venerate could actually kill netherworld celestial venerate. Of course, the heavenly punishment Great Emperor wanted to make a move, but the distance was too far. Even he couldn't teleport to the netherworld realm. He could only use his own name to deter the other party. As a Tao confirming Great Emperor, not to mention a Tao confirming celestial venerate, even a powerhouse of the same level would give him face, since he had already said so. And the result? The other party didn't pay attention to him at all. How could he not be angry? If the other party's strength was far beyond his own, it would be fine. But now, the other party was just a puny intermediate Tao confirming celestial venerate. In his eyes, the other party's strength was not enough. On the other hand, in the face of life and death, netherworld celestial venerate no longer cared about his face. As long as he could survive, it was fine. Even if he was asked to kneel down now, he believed that netherworld celestial venerate would not hesitate to kneel down and admit his mistake. Tao confirming celestial venerate, especially when his strength reached the realm of netherworld celestial venerate, he was more and more afraid of death. In any case, as long as the opportunity was right, he could reach the sky in a single step and become a Tao confirming Great Emperor. Now that he was dead, everything was gone. Humph! A cold snort. Longao did not care about Tao confirming Great Emperors. He only knew one thing, and that was that he had to kill netherworld celestial venerate. Otherwise, if he missed this opportunity, it would be much harder to find another one in the future. Boom, 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 boom. Devouring the heavens. Devouring everything. Out of all the martial skills that Longao possessed, this devouring the heavens was the strongest move. It was enough to devour even Tao confirming celestial venerates. Longao, even if I die, I'll drag you down with me. Ha! Ha ha! Ha ha ha! The self-destruction of the essence spirit of a Tao confirming celestial venerate was something that anyone could imagine. At the same time, Longao knew that if the other party were to succeed in destroying his essence spirit, he would be severely injured even if he didn't die. Given the situation right now, it was a competition of strength and speed. Who was stronger and who was faster? Longao had full confidence in this devouring the heavens that he had comprehended. Devouring the heavens. These 4 words started hammering on netherworld celestial venerate's essence spirit. Left with no other choice, Longao decided to use his essence spirit to attack. Right now, his essence spirit was comparable to a Tao confirming celestial venerate. However, it wasn't that easy for him to attack smoothly. If he were to be careless, he would be devoured by the other party's essence spirit. By then, the consequences would be unimaginable. However, given the situation right now, there was no time for him to think too much. He had to kill the other party as soon as possible. Otherwise, it was either he or the other party who would die. Ark! A tragic cry rang out. In his desperation, netherworld celestial venerate had not expected Longao to use his essence spirit to attack. After being struck, netherworld celestial venerate was in complete despair. The terrifying Thunder Divine Dragon began to devour netherworld celestial venerate crazily. Longao had already done his best. The surrounding space was completely locked. In other words, netherworld celestial venerate had no way out at this moment. He would definitely die. Boy, stop it. If you dare to kill netherworld celestial venerate, this old man will tear you into pieces and make you suffer a fate worse than death. Trash. Ignoring the threat of Tian Fa, Great Emperor, Longao continued to do his best to devour everything of netherworld celestial venerate. His essence spirit body, blood essence, and even his dantian. In this way, netherworld celestial venerate would not even have the chance to reincarnate. One had to admit that Longao was really ruthless. Boss, I want to devour. F***CK, I almost forgot about you. At this moment, Piggy's figure appeared quickly and began to devour. With Longao's devouring the heavens, Netherworld Celestial Venerate did not even have the ability to resist. He could only be devoured obediently. P.S. Wait, there's another chapter. Chapter 3390. Piglet's devouring speed was extremely fast. In just a few minutes, he had finished devouring. Little Pig's cultivation base thus broke through from a divine beast to a heavenly venerable divine beast. In the next second, boundless killing intent instantly surged forth, following which an old man appeared. Emperor of heavenly punishment. Brat, you are truly arrogant. You actually dared to ignore my warning and kill heavenly sovereign Netherworld. Where would he put his face? As a dignified Tao confirming great emperor. When had he ever been humiliated like this? It would have been fine if he hadn't warned the other party, but he had clearly warned the other party. Yet, the other party still dared to kill heavenly venerable Netherworld. How could he not be angry? He suppressed the killing intent and anger in his heart. I'll give you a chance. Submit to me, and I won't kill you. Hearing this, Longao smiled. He really knew how to joke. He actually wants me to choose to submit? What right do you have? The heaven punishment great emperor was clearly stunned. He never thought that one day, a little intermediate Empyrean would not only ignore his warning, but even dare to provoke him. If he hadn't seen it with his own eyes, he wouldn't have believed it even if he were beaten to death. Do you think that you can contend against me with that move of yours? Although he had not seen the other party's Tao verification martial skill with his own eyes, he could imagine that the other party's Tao verification martial skill must be very heaven-defying, since he was able to kill Heavenly Venerate Netherworld as a mid-level Tao verification Heavenly Venerate. But one had to know, Empyrean Netherworld was a genuine grand completion Tao corroborating Empyrean. How do you know if you don't try? Since things had already come to this, Longao was prepared to fight the other party and see if his Heaven Devourer could contend against a Tao-confirming Emperor. Boom, 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 boom. Terrifying thunderous roars, accompanied by dragon roars, rang out. It resounded through the 9 heavens. A 10,000 feet long lightning dragon circled around Longao's body. It lifted its head to the sky and roared continuously. The roars of the dragon echoed throughout the entire nether realm. His expression changed. You do have some skills. Greed was written all over his face. Tian Fa Emperor was very clear that this martial skill was very useful to him. If he could obtain it, he would be like a tiger that had grown wings. A terrifying origin domain was released from his body, and it instantly spread out. His heart sank. Feeling the origin domain enveloping him, Longao felt as if he had fallen into a swamp, unable to move an inch. What a terrifying origin domain. He had to admit it. There was simply an insurmountable gap between a Tao confirming Empyrean and a Tao confirming Great Emperor. The difference in strength between the two was simply too great. Fortunately, the might of the Heaven Devourer was not to be underestimated. However, it was almost impossible to break through the origin domain. Break! He had thought that by relying on his own origin domain, he would be able to break through the other party's Tao verification martial technique. However, he had never imagined that he would still underestimate the other party's strength. Boom! There was a loud bang. Longao's heaven-devouring dome was broken in an instant. The tens of thousands of lightning divine dragons turned into pieces and disappeared. Ha. You want to fight me? You're still far from it. I'd like to see how you're going to leave in front of me. Tian Fa Emperor had never intended to kill Celestial Venerable Tian Hades. Although Celestial Venerable Tian Hades was only a mid-level Celestial Venerable, his strength had already surpassed that of a perfected Celestial Venerable. If he could subdue Celestial Venerable Tian Hades, it would be a very good thing. At the very least, Celestial Venerable Tian Hades could be his henchman. If he was lucky enough, Celestial Venerable Tian Hades' cultivation would smoothly break through to Tao-confirming Great Emperor. At that time, he would have a Tao-confirming Great Emperor puppet by his side. Longao also knew that even if he could defeat Celestial Venerable Tion Hades and Celestial Venerable Tion Hades at the same time, it was almost impossible for him to defeat a Tao-confirming Great Emperor. Even if he used his most powerful move, the Heaven Devourer, he would not be able to do it. If he was outside, he could enter his chaotic Dantian at any time. Even if the other party was a Tao-confirming Great Emperor, they would not be able to stop him. However, the situation was a little different now. Longao was very clear that he had been covered by the Origin Realm released by Tion Fa Emperor. If he chose to enter his chaotic Dantian at this time, the consequences would be unimaginable if he was targeted by the other party. Holding the chaotic axe, Longao and Tion Fa Emperor continued to fight. It had to be said that Longao's strength was indeed very terrifying. If it was an ordinary Celestial Venerable, not to mention a mid-level Celestial Venerable, even a perfected Celestial Venerable would not be able to contend against a Tao-confirming Great Emperor. They would not even be able to withstand 10 moves. This was the gap between a Celestial Master and a Great Emperor. There was no doubt about it. It was precisely because of this that the Great Emperor of Tion Fa became more and more frightened. He never thought that his opponent's strength had grown to such an extent. Unknowingly, his opponent had already resisted more than 20 of his moves. What did this mean? Things had already happened. He had no other choice but to subdue Yi Shiwen or completely kill him. Otherwise, it would be like letting a tiger return to the mountain. There would be endless trouble in the future. Boom! Longao's body was directly hit and sent flying. Longao still could not resist the other party's powerful attack. If he did not have the support of the Origin Realm, Longao might be able to persist for a longer time. However, the Origin Realm was too strange and powerful. In his own Origin Realm, Tion Fa Emperor was invincible. The Origin Realm began to directly suppress Longao as if he was a meat patty. Just when Longao was about to be killed, the situation suddenly changed. The chaotic axe in Longao's hand suddenly emitted a mass of black light. It was the axole that had been integrated with the chaotic axe. Longao was very surprised. He never thought that the axole that had been integrated with the chaotic axe would suddenly appear. What's going on? Looking at the black-robed man that was slowly condensing in front of him, Longao was very surprised. This was because he knew this person. When he was in the Nether Realm, inside the Heaven's Burial Peak, he had met a mysterious middle-aged man. It was this man who had given him the axole. He thought that this person had completely disappeared, but he did not expect that this person would suddenly appear at this time. Could it be that this person was a Tao-confirming Great Emperor? You are? Tion Fa Emperor stared at the black-robed, illusory figure in front of him. His face became more and more unsightly and gloomy. He did not dare to believe it. He said word by word, "You are Yi Zong? Tianzong Emperor? Tianzong Emperor?" Sure enough, as Longao had guessed, the so-called black-clothed illusory figure was a Great Emperor Realm Tao Affirmation Great Emperor named Tianzong. Although Longao did not know why Tianzong Great Emperor wanted to help him, he felt a sense of familiarity towards this person. The black-robed man, who was the so-called Tianzong Emperor, sneered and said, "Tion Fa Emperor, get lost." Chapter 3391. Emperor Tianfa's face was gloomy. He sneered. His face was filled with mockery as he coldly said, "Yi Zong, if you were at your peak, I might be a bit afraid of you. But now, Emperor Tianzong's strength was indeed above his." But now, Yi Zong merely sneered. "Tianfa, although I'm no match for you now, I can take you down with me if I detonate my primordial spirit." Tianfa was stunned. He would be lying if he said he wasn't afraid. He stared at the black-robed man in front of him, then turned and left, disappearing without a trace. Yi Zong breathed a sigh of relief. He turned around, looking at Longao in front of him. He bowed cleanly and said, "Master, I have startled you." "Master? You're Emperor Tianfa?" Longao was completely confused. He knew very well what it meant to be a Tao Affirmation Great Emperor. Apart from the Tao Affirmation Sovereign Ancestor, a Tao Affirmation Great Emperor was the strongest existence. When did he have such a Tao affirmation great emperor disciple? Why didn't he know? What's going on? Yizong thought for a moment and said, I thought you'd need thousands of years to break through to the Tao affirmation realm, but I didn't expect you to have already succeeded. Not only have you succeeded, but you've also become a mid-level Tao affirmation, heavenly venerate, and comprehended the sky devourer. He was shocked. Apart from the young master, no one else seemed to know that he had comprehended the sky devourer, especially the name of the move. Yizong had been in his chaos axe all this time. If that was the case, how did Yizong know? Did Yizong really know him? What's going on? Master, there are some things that I can't tell you now. I'll tell you when you're able to break through to the Tao affirmation Great Emperor Ninth Cycle. Tao affirmation Great Emperor Ninth Cycle? He felt helpless. Longao knew very well that if Yizong didn't want to talk about it, then no matter how he asked, he believed Yizong wouldn't tell him. Yizong smiled helplessly and said, Master, I believe you've already sensed that the 3 moves you comprehended in front of the exalted celestial steel are extremely heaven-defying. He nodded. Yizong really knew quite a lot. Not only did he know about Lin Fan's devouring the heavens, he even knew that Lin Fan had comprehended the other 2 moves. Master, your first move, devouring the heavens, is enough to dominate those below the Tao-confirming great emperors. However, with your current strength, you won't be able to contend against a Tao-confirming great emperor. Longao didn't say anything. How could he not know what Yizong meant? He felt helpless. Tao-confirming great emperors were simply too powerful. Even if he used his strongest move, devouring the heavens, he still couldn't contend against Tao-confirming great emperors. There was no doubt about it. However, when Master is able to comprehend the second move, you will be able to occupy a place among the great emperors. It was easier said than done, but to truly comprehend it was easier said than done. It was a coincidence that he was able to comprehend the first move, devouring the heavens. If he wanted to comprehend the second move, it would be too difficult. At the very least, he couldn't do it now. Master, Tian Fa Great Emperor's strength shouldn't be underestimated. What's more, his backer is also very powerful. Master, you have to break through the Tao-confirming Great Emperor as soon as possible and become a 9-revolution Great Emperor. Once you can become a Tao-confirming sovereign ancestor, no one in the entire chaos space can threaten you. His heart suddenly sank. Tao-confirming sovereign ancestor wasn't a cabbage that could be found on the street. It was very speechless. Not to mention Tao-confirming sovereign ancestor, it was easier said than done to break through the so-called Tao-confirming great emperor. He sighed deeply in his heart and looked helpless. However, he was now a mid-level celestial venerate. Given time, he might be able to break through to the perfected celestial venerate as soon as possible. As for how long it would take, it was unknown. Master, I will enter the Chaos Axe first. He nodded. Although he had a lot of curiosity in his heart, he could only endure it. Yizong turned into a mass of black light and instantly entered the Chaos Axe. Longao more or less had some feelings about the Nether Realm. Yulin had been killed, Nether Heavenly Master had been slaughtered by him, and even a powerful Tao-confirming Great Emperor had been drawn out. All of this happened in the Nether Realm. Yizong clenched his fists tightly. Just as Yizong said, with his current strength, although he could roam freely among Tao-confirming Heavenly Masters, once he encountered a Tao-confirming Great Emperor, he wouldn't be able to compete at all. He had to become a Tao-confirming Great Emperor as soon as possible. Boss, I have a way to let you break through to the peak Tao-confirming Heavenly Master Realm in the shortest time possible. Longao, who was about to leave the Nether Realm, was pleasantly surprised when he heard Piglet's words. He couldn't wait to ask, what way? I've been sensing the aura of the Nether Realm just now. I found that the Nether Realm is very strange. I can help you devour the Nether Realm's origin energy. In this way, if there are no accidents, I believe you can smoothly break through to the peak Tao-confirming Heavenly Master Realm in 3 years. So, that was the case. All right, let's get started immediately. This battle with the Heaven Punishment Emperor had truly made Longao realize just how big of a difference there was between him and a Tao confirming Great Emperor. Even if he were to become a peak Tao confirming Heavenly Master, he wouldn't be a match for the Heaven Punishment Emperor, let alone the current him, unless he could become a Tao confirming Great Emperor. But if he wanted to do that, he would have to first break through to become a peak Tao confirming Heavenly Master. Initially, he had thought that it would take a long time for him to become a peak Tao confirming Heavenly Master. But to think that Piglet had already thought of a way for him. If he could successfully become a peak Tao confirming Heavenly Master within 3 years, that would be the best thing that could happen. Just the thought of it was enough to get him excited. Piglet's method was simple. Longao came to the center of the Nether Realm, which was also the intersection point of the 5 worlds. Longao sat down on the ground. After Piglet became a Heavenly Master, he had comprehended yet another mystic skill. Piglet's body was like a gigantic whirlpool that began to devour the origin energy of the Nether Realm madly. Whether it was a Tao confirming martial artist or a normal martial artist, they were all affected greatly. This was especially the case for Tao confirming martial artists. However, the other 4 world rulers did not dare to step out and meddle in this. For someone to be able to do something like this, he must definitely be a super powerful being amongst the powerful beings. Just thinking about it made one realize what this meant. If they were to strike out recklessly, the gains would not make up for the losses. The origin energy that Piglet had devoured was channeled into Longao's body. Making use of this massive amount of origin energy, Longao began to break through quietly. Chapter 3392. Piglet began to devour the origin energy of the entire Nether Realm with the help of his divine ability. Sitting on the ground, Longao quietly absorbed. Gradually, Longao's body was like a huge whirlpool, madly devouring the origin energy around him. Under normal circumstances, Longao would need at least 1,000 years to break through from a mid-level Heavenly Venerate to a peak Heavenly Venerate. But now there was no need. Crack! A series of sounds came from within his body. Longao's cultivation had smoothly broken through from a mid-level Heavenly Venerate to a high-level Heavenly Venerate. Who is it that dares to devour the origin energy of my Nether Realm? An angry roar. A middle-aged man appeared. He was a mid-level Heavenly Venerate and was also the sworn brother of Heavenly Venerate Netherworld. He had been cultivating in seclusion. Even if Heavenly Venerate Netherworld had fallen, Qianlei did not know. The 9 heavens' divine thunder began to resound around his body. Qianlei was thoroughly enraged. He had never imagined that someone would dare to devour the origin energy of the Nether Realm so recklessly. If one devoured the origin energy of the Nether Realm in the chaos space, it would be impossible to simply devour the origin energy to advance. Secondly, no matter how much one devoured, there would be no side effects to the chaos space. But in the Nether Realm, the situation was completely different. A Heavenly Venerate devouring with all his strength was a devastating blow to the Nether Realm. Although Qianlei could not figure out how the other party did it, neither he nor Heavenly Venerate Netherworld could do it. At this moment, Longao did not care about Qianlei at all. He was fully focused on breaking through. He had to break through from a high-level Heavenly Venerate to a peak Heavenly Venerate in one go. Seeing that Longao was ignoring him, Qianlei, who could not sense the other party's strength, snorted coldly and directly attacked him. Crazy attacks. Destructive attacks. Qianlei had no intention of leaving Longao alive. He had to kill him. Since he had devoured the origin energy of the Nether Realm, he did not put him and Heavenly Venerate Netherworld in his eyes. Big Brother was obviously not here. He could deal with this matter by himself. Qianlei even thought that if he could refine Yishuan into a puppet, it would be a very good thing for him. A Tao confirming Empyrean puppet. Just thinking about it made him excited. Piglet was there, but he was just hiding. At this moment, the man and the godly beast ignored Qianlei. He mustn't allow himself to be interrupted. If he were to forcefully interrupt the process, he wouldn't be able to recreate the origin energy of devouring. If that were to happen, it would be difficult for him to continue his breakthrough. Longao's meaning was very simple. He wanted to rely on this opportunity to break through to the great circle and become a celestial venerable. Crack, crack, crack. Longao's body began to slowly form a gigantic origin energy shield. Despite Zi Qianlei's relentless attacks, the origin energy shield was unable to break through. Only cracking sounds could be heard. Boom, 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 boom. Zi Qianlei had used the original strength of lightning. But even so, he was still unable to break through his opponent's qi shield. What was going on? Zi Qianlei couldn't understand why he couldn't break through his opponent's qi shield. If they hadn't seen it with their own eyes, they wouldn't have believed it even if they were beaten to death. Even so, Zi Qianlei wasn't willing to give up just like that. Since he had already started attacking, if he couldn't kill the other party, the consequences would be unimaginable once the other party devoured the origin energy of this place and successfully broke through. Because of Zi Qianlei's frenzied attacks, the entire netherworld began to tremble violently. No one in the netherworld knew what was going on. After all, this was the first time something like this had ever happened in the netherworld. Longao was enveloped by the origin energy shield quietly. Without any hesitation, he continued to devour the origin energy of the netherworld. He was clear that Piglet's mystic skill could only help him once, especially in the netherworld. If it were anywhere else, even with Piglet's help, he wouldn't be able to do it. He only had this one chance. He had to make use of this opportunity to break through to the great circle and become a celestial venerable. Only then would he have the hope of becoming a Tao-confirming emperor as soon as possible. A Tao-confirming heavenly venerable wouldn't be able to fight against a Tao-confirming emperor, unless his own cultivation base could break through to the Tao-confirming emperor state successfully. In addition, he had to comprehend the second move as soon as possible. Longao had already witnessed the power of the first move, devouring the heavens. According to Yizong, as long as he could comprehend the second move, he would have a place among the ranks of Tao-confirming emperors. However, comprehending the second move was easier said than done. The reason he had been able to comprehend the first move was because of the heavenly venerate tablet. Otherwise, it would have been impossible. The huge cocoon was still devouring the origin energy of the entire netherworld. Longao's Dantian's devouring speed was getting faster and faster. Soon, Longao certainly knew what was happening around him. He didn't know where this intermediate Tao-confirming Empyrean had come from, but they had attacked him for no reason. If it weren't for the origin energy shield, he believed that his devouring of the origin energy would have been forcibly interrupted, and he would have lost this once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. How could he not be angry? However, Longao also knew that although the origin energy shield could temporarily withstand the attacks, it was almost impossible for it to last forever. Therefore, he had to break through as soon as possible. He couldn't let it break. After attacking for several minutes, he still couldn't break the origin energy shield. Zi Qianlei was completely stunned and looked at his opponent in disbelief. He had never seen such a situation before. Someone could actually block his attacks. As a mid-level Tao-confirming heavenly venerate, he could also mobilize the origin energy. He also knew that even if he gathered the origin energy shield, he couldn't do it. Not to mention him, even a peak Tao-confirming heavenly venerate couldn't do it. The more this was the case, the angrier Zi Qianlei became. This person was really arrogant. He dared to openly devour the origin energy of the netherworld, and even specifically chose to do it when Big Brother wasn't around. Was he doing it on purpose? If that was the case, if this person devoured the origin energy of the netherworld and caused an accident in the netherworld, how would he explain it to Big Brother when he returned? The more he attacked, the angrier and more anxious he became. The longer the battle dragged on, the more he didn't care. He simply didn't know when his opponent would break through if he continued to devour the origin energy. Was his opponent a low-level Tao-confirming heavenly venerate? Or a mid-level Tao-confirming heavenly venerate? Or was he a high-level Tao, confirming heavenly venerate? As for whether his opponent was a peak Tao, confirming heavenly venerate, he didn't even think about it. Chapter 3393. Was it possible for a peak Empyrean to become a peak Empyrean? It was almost impossible. If the other party was really a peak Empyrean, then there was no need for him to devour the Nether Realm's origin energy. Everyone knew. If one wanted to break through from a peak Empyrean to a great Emperor, they had to condense their origin energy and form an origin energy domain. This had nothing to do with devouring the origin energy. Because of this, Zi Qianlei began to worry. If the other party was just a peak Empyrean, then he could still fight. But if the other party was a mid-Empyrean or a peak Empyrean, then the consequences would be obvious. But his big brother was not in the Nether Realm right now. Empyrean Netherworld, a peak Empyrean, was the strongest existence below a great emperor. Zi Qianlei did not know that his big brother, the one he relied on, had died at the hands of the origin energy cocoon. If Zi Qianlei knew about this, who knew what Zi Qianlei would think? He continued to attack crazily. Right at this moment, the origin energy cocoon began to make cracking sounds. Under Zi Qianlei's shocked gaze, the huge black cocoon began to shatter. Longao's figure appeared. He looked coldly at the middle-aged man in front of him and asked with a sneer, "Do you still want to continue attacking?" "Ah!" Zi Qianlei was shocked to find that he could not sense the other party's aura. What did this mean? The other party was either concealing his aura, or he was stronger than him. Could it be that the other party had successfully broken through to a peak Empyrean? He regretted it. But more than that, he was unwilling. If his big brother was here, then he could easily destroy the other party with one attack. But for some reason, his big brother was not here. "Who are you? How dare you enter the Nether Realm and devour the origin energy here? Don't you know that this is Empyrean Netherworld's territory?" Empyrean Netherworld, a peak Empyrean. Even in the chaos space, he was a famous existence. Zi Qianlei could not figure out where the other party got the courage to enter the Nether Realm and devour the origin energy. If his big brother came back at this time, then he knew what would happen. Was the other party not afraid of death? Or was the other party's brain flooded with water, and he was not afraid of death? Empyrean Netherworld? Although Longao did not know what kind of relationship this person had with Heavenly Venerate Netherworld, he did not know why this person did not know that he had killed Heavenly Venerate Netherworld. But one had to know. The other party was a mid-level Tao, confirming Empyrean. He should be able to sense what was happening here. What was going on? However, Longao did not care about a mere mid-level Tao validation, Heavenly Venerate. He could even kill Empyrean Netherworld, who was a peak Tao confirming Empyrean, let alone a mid-level Tao confirming Empyrean. With Piglet's full support and the special space of the Netherworld, he was able to escape. Longao was no longer the same as he had been in the past. He had successfully broken through from an intermediate Tao validation, Heavenly Venerate, to a perfected Tao validation, Heavenly Venerate. As long as a Tao validation Great Emperor didn't personally come, he could instantly kill them. He didn't even need to use the Heaven-Devouring Archon. This was Longao's current strength. "Brat, I have to admit that you really do have guts. However, you're just playing tricks. So what if you're stronger than me? If my big brother comes back, you will still die without a burial ground. I can give you a chance now. Choose to submit." "Submit? A single chance?" Longao was amused. Zi Qianlei could tell that the other party was fearless. Seemed like his strength far surpassed his. However, it was almost impossible for the other party to go against his big brother. He just did not know when his big brother would return. That was the key. "I'll give you a chance now. If you choose to submit, you don't have to die. Otherwise, no one, not even Empyrean Netherworld, can protect you." The moment he heard these words, Zi Qianlei was stunned. "Ha! Ha ha! Ha ha ha!" He burst out into maniacal laughter. His laughter was filled with endless mockery. For countless years, no one had ever dared to speak to him in such a manner. Putting aside his status, just the strength of his big brother alone was enough to make it so. unless it was a Tao validation great emperor. Even a peak Tao validating heavenly venerate of the same level would not dare to speak to him in such a manner. Empyrean Netherworld was famous in the chaos space. Just you? Who do you think you are? If you dare to face my big brother, you don't have to play any tricks. Come here and devour the source energy while my big brother isn't around. Seemed like this person did not know that Empyrean Netherworld had already fallen. Looking at the man before him with pity, Longao said indifferently, I'm sorry. Just a few hours ago, Empyrean Netherworld had already fallen. Even his essence spirit was not left behind. Would Zi Qianlei choose to believe him? Definitely not. He was the clearest about his big brother's strength. As long as it wasn't a Tao validation great emperor, his big brother was not afraid of anyone. Huh? Lad, you don't have to do this. If you want to kill me, we'll have to see if you have the capabilities to do so. However, once my big brother returns, even if you run to the ends of the world, you'll still be dead. Is that so? Suddenly, an endless amount of source energy burst forth from Longao's body and pressed down fiercely. Zi Qianlei, who could not believe it at all, suddenly felt a horrifying amount of source energy pressing down on him. His heart sank as his face changed. He even exclaimed out, full cultivation, Tao validation, Heavenly Lord. You're already a full cultivation, Tao validation, Heavenly Lord? Zi Qianlei was clear that before devouring the source energy, this person was definitely not a full cultivation Tao validation, Heavenly Lord. The most likely possibility was that this person was a high cultivation Tao validation, Heavenly Lord. This person was a good schemer. Once he became a full cultivation Tao validation, Heavenly Lord, even if his big brother were to return, he would not be able to do anything to him. After all, the strength of a full cultivation Tao validation, Heavenly Lord was there for all to see. Even his big brother would not be able to do anything to him. Longao did not want to continue with this nonsense, nor did he want to listen to the other party's nonsense. As the source energy from his body pressed down fiercely, the devouring heavens was unleashed. Boom, 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 boom. A 10,000 zhang long divine lightning dragon appeared. Under Zi Qianlei's shocked gaze, it started to devour him. At this moment, Zi Qianlei was in complete despair. He had never thought that his opponent's strength would be so strong. It was unbelievable. Zi Qianlei even believed that even his big brother's strength could not match up to this person. No wonder the other party dared to enter the underworld so crazily to devour the source energy. He had nothing to fear. But even if he had 10,000 regrets now, it was too late. Chapter 3394. You can't kill me. Netherworld Heavenly Venerable won't let you go. Netherworld Heavenly Venerable? He sneered. It seemed that Zi Qianlei still didn't know that Netherworld Heavenly Venerable had fallen. However, Longao didn't have time to talk nonsense with Zi Qianlei. He wanted to end the battle quickly. Now that he had successfully broken through to the peak Heavenly Venerable realm, dealing with Zi Qianlei would be a piece of cake. Boom! There was a loud explosion. Zi Qianlei was directly destroyed. However, the primordial spirit of a mid-level Heavenly Venerable was the best tonic for Piglet. Piglet was now a Heavenly Venerable divine beast. If he continued to devour, he believed that his strength would continue to increase. Boss, what should we do now? The most important thing now was to find a way to become a Tao-confirming Great Emperor. Even a peak Heavenly Venerable was no match for a Tao-confirming Great Emperor. There was no doubt about that. It was easy to think about, but it was very difficult to break through. If one wanted to break through from a peak Heavenly Venerable to a Tao-confirming Great Emperor, they had to condense the origin energy in their body and form an origin domain. A Tao-confirming Great Emperor was invincible within their domain. This was the real reason why he couldn't kill a Tao-confirming Great Emperor. Let's see how to condense an origin domain. Piglet didn't continue to stay outside. He entered his chaotic dantian and began to refine the heavenly venerable energy he had just devoured. Longao knew nothing about Tao confirming Great Emperor and Tao confirming Great Emperor. Tao confirming martial artists were divided into 5 levels. Tao confirming martial artist, Tao confirming heavenly venerable, Tao confirming Great Emperor, Tao confirming Great Emperor, and the legendary Tao confirming ruler. His cultivation had reached the peak heavenly venerable realm, and he was only one step away from becoming a Tao confirming Great Emperor. As long as he could cross this step, he could become a Tao confirming Great Emperor. In this way, he could occupy a place in the chaotic space. There was no need to stay in the underworld. After Longao left, he immediately sealed the entire space. Yi Zhang's words kept repeating in his mind. A Tao confirming Great Emperor actually called him master. What was going on? No matter how much he thought about it, he couldn't think of a reason. Was he the reincarnation of a powerhouse? Besides that, Longao couldn't think of any other reason. If his guess was right, what was the strength of his reincarnation? Tao confirming Great Emperor? Or perhaps he was a Tao confirming sovereign ancestor. It was unbelievable. Inside the chaotic Dantian, Longao didn't hide anything about Yi Zhang from the evil ancestor and Xinyuan Bubi. After listening to the story, the two of them sighed. They had never imagined that in such a short period of time, Longao had successfully advanced to the peak of the Tao confirming heavenly venerate. He was even able to resist a Tao confirming Great Emperor. It was truly inconceivable. It was just that the two of them couldn't explain clearly what had happened to Yi Zhang. Before this, they had only been Tao validation martial artists. They did not know anything about the so-called Tao validation Great Emperors. For them, they were only legendary existences. Emperor Heaven Burial? According to my guess, since the Heaven Burial Great Emperor called you master, it means that you are the reincarnation of an expert. In your previous life, you might have been a powerful Great Emperor or even an imperial ancestor. The corner of his mouth was a little bitter. If that was the case, then this disciple of his was a little too strong. Whether it was a Tao confirming Great Emperor or an imperial ancestor, they were all legendary existences. They weren't existences that they could touch. Nodding, Longao didn't say much. After all, this matter was very strange. He couldn't just listen to the one-sided story of the Heaven Burial Great Emperor. He had to investigate it himself. Brother Long, where are you going? Qin Shuangshuang knew very well that Big Brother Long's cultivation had already smoothly broken through to the peak of the Tao confirming Empyrean realm. Next, if nothing unexpected happened, Big Brother Long should be thinking of a way to condense the source energy in his body into a source domain and advance to the Tao confirming Great Emperor realm. No matter how powerful a Tao confirming heavenly venerate was, they couldn't compete with a Tao confirming Great Emperor. The gap between the two was too big. Cloud Valley. Longao had just returned when he sensed a powerful airflow. He smiled. He didn't need to ask to know who it was. It was the young master, heavenly venerate devouring cloud. Brother Long, seeing that you've returned safely, I can rest assured. The young master was a good person. Longao naturally knew why the young master was here. It seemed that the young master was worried about him, so he waited for him in Cloud Valley. Brother Long, how is the madman? The young master was also very concerned about this issue. Although Longao's strength was comparable to a peak Tao confirming Great Emperor, it was still unknown whether he could kill a peak Tao confirming Great Emperor. Not to mention, the madman's strength was there. Even the young master's father might not be able to defeat him. He ran away. Sure enough, although he had guessed that Longao might not be able to keep the madman, he was more or less unwilling. If Longao could really kill the madman, then it would be for the best. Longao didn't say much about the Nether Realm, especially about the heavenly punishment Great Emperor. He didn't say a word. Brother Long, there's no need to be like this. You're only an intermediate Tao confirming Great Emperor, but you can already contend against a peak Tao confirming Great Emperor. Wait until you break through to the advanced Tao, confirming Great Emperor, or peak Tao, confirming Great Emperor. Then it shouldn't be difficult to kill the madman. With regards to Longao, young master was very confident, conceding that his talent was extraordinary. However, in front of this person, he was still far from enough to look at. Young master also prepared to go into seclusion to cultivate, striving to break through to the great circle and confirm the Tao as soon as possible. Young master, I have something to ask you. No problem. The two entered Cloud Valley and came to the peak of a mountain. There was a stone table and 2 stone benches. On the stone table were 2 green jade wine cups and a jug of wine. Everyone poured a cup. Longao took a sip and said, "Good wine." The young master smiled and said, "This is wine that my father refined from various spiritual items in various heavenly domains and chaos spaces." Longao smiled. He didn't understand wine at all. He went straight to the point and said, "Young master, I want to ask about the Tao confirming Great Emperor." "What do you want to ask?" "The division of strength of a Tao confirming Great Emperor." He was very curious. He didn't know why Longao didn't even know the division of strength of a Tao confirming Great Emperor, but he still said, when a peak Tao confirming Great Emperor condenses the source strength in their body into their source domain, they will become a Tao confirming Great Emperor. And a Tao confirming Great Emperor will begin to compress and condense the source strength in their body. Longao didn't speak. He just listened quietly. He didn't understand the strength of a Tao confirming Great Emperor. The young master was the best person to explain. After all, among all the Tao confirming Great Emperors he knew, the young master was his only friend. P.S. Please support Little Nine's new book, Cultivation, Berserk Upgrade. It's absolutely hot-blooded. Chapter 3395. Every time a Tao confirming Great Emperor condenses his origin domain, the power of his origin domain will double. Tao confirming Great Emperors, the 9 transformations would condense the origin domain. 9 revolution Tao confirming Great Emperor. First cycle Tao confirming Great Emperor meant condensing a layer of origin domain. A second transformation Tao confirming Great Emperor had condensed a second layer origin domain. 3 transformations of the Tao confirming Great Emperors had condensed 3 layers of origin domains. And so on. When he condensed the 9th heaven origin domain, he would advance to the 9th revolution Tao confirming Great Emperor realm. Young master, is the 9th revolution Tao confirming Great Emperor to the pinnacle of the Tao confirming Great Emperor realm? He shook his head. The young master said with a smile, "How is that possible? Wait until you break through to the 9th transformation Tao confirming Great Emperor realm and condense the 9th origin realm. At that time, you can use the origin realm to start comprehending the power of the realm." So that was the case. As for becoming an emperor ancestor, when you comprehend the world energy, you can start to condense the origin world and form your own world. From there, you can control the origin world energy. Martial artists who had proven their Tao had come into contact with the power of origin. A Tao confirming heavenly venerate grasped the power of origin. Tao confirming great emperors had mastered the origin domain. As for Tao vindication royal ancestors, they controlled the origin world. What about the legendary Tao vindication rulers? The young master seemed to be able to guess Longao's thoughts and spoke with a yearning tone. The legendary Tao confirming rulers have not appeared for countless years. As for whether there really is a Tao confirming ruler in the primal chaos space, no one knows. Perhaps the supreme Tao confirming emperors know, but as for what kind of power they have, no one knows. He didn't continue asking because Longao was very clear that with his current strength, becoming a Tao ruler was still an unreachable existence to him. Even if he knew, it wouldn't mean much. Young master, I have something to ask you. Brother Long, please speak. I wonder what a perfected heavenly venerate should do to condense the origin energy in my body into an origin domain. This was the key. If one's cultivation base could smoothly break through to the peak of the heavenly venerate realm, One had to think of a way to condense an origin domain. This was the only way to smoothly break through from the heavenly venerate realm to the great emperor realm. The young master was very surprised. He thought that Longao should know about these things, but he never expected that Longao didn't seem to know anything. He didn't ask any questions. Everyone had their own secrets, and Longao was no exception. As a friend, the young master knew what to ask and what not to ask. If you want to break through to the great perfection realm and become a heavenly venerate, you must condense an origin domain. He nodded. Longao obviously knew about this. He just wanted to ask how he could condense the origin source power in his body into an origin source domain. If you want to condense the origin energy in your body into an origin domain, there is another important point other than compressing it. Here was the main point. He could finally find out what he wanted to know. Pressure. Pressure? Longao did not understand what pressure was. Why did he need this so-called pressure to refine the source energy in his body? What exactly was going on? His face was full of curiosity. The young master continued. If you want to rely on yourself to constantly compress the origin energy and condense it into an origin source domain, it's too difficult. Not even 1 in 100 could do it. However, if you continue to compress under great pressure, the success rate will greatly increase. Even so, there are very few great perfection realm heavenly venerates who can condense an origin source domain. There was no need for the young master to say more. Longao also knew how difficult it was to break through from the great perfection realm heavenly venerate to the great perfection realm. Not even 1 in 100. Brother Long, my father and frenzy, had already become great perfection realm heavenly venerates trillions of years ago. However, after so many years, my father and frenzy still haven't condensed an origin source domain. At this point, the young master did not continue, but the meaning in his words was very clear. How could Longao not understand the meaning behind it? If the two of them could not condense an origin source domain in trillions of years, it was easy to imagine how difficult it was to break through from the great perfection realm to the great perfection realm. Longao, who was originally full of confidence, suddenly felt his heart sink after hearing the young master's words. It was still unknown when he could successfully become a great perfection realm heavenly venerate. He felt very helpless. It seemed that he was still thinking too much. Brother Long, your cultivation speed is already at the top of your peers. No one can beat you. With your talent and potential, I believe that you should be able to become a great perfection realm heavenly venerate in less than 100 million years. 100 million years? Hearing this, Longao smiled helplessly and said, Young master, are you preparing to go into seclusion? Nodding, the young master didn't hide much and said, Brother Long, to be honest, I have always been conceited about my talent. In just a few tens of millions of years, I have already broken through from the intermediate great perfection realm heavenly venerate to the advanced great perfection realm heavenly venerate. However, it is still not enough to face a great perfection realm heavenly venerate. Therefore, I am preparing to go into seclusion and strive to break through to the great perfection realm heavenly venerate as soon as possible. The young master said it casually, but breaking through was easier said than done. It took tens of millions of years to break through from the intermediate great perfection realm heavenly venerate to the advanced great perfection realm heavenly venerate. No one knew how long it would take to break through from the advanced great perfection realm heavenly venerate to the great perfection realm heavenly venerate. However, the young master was still preparing to go into seclusion. At this moment, Longao said, Young master, with all due respect, going into seclusion isn't the best way. I would like to hear the details. Instead of going into seclusion, it's better to go out and gain experience. If I can constantly fight with great perfection realm heavenly venerates, I believe that the time it takes to break through will be greatly reduced. Hearing those words, the young master's eyes lit up. Brother Long is right. Only through constant battles will I be able to make breakthroughs faster. If I were to just cultivate in seclusion, I might not be able to make a breakthrough even if I were to cultivate for several 100 million years. Brother Long, why don't you and I team up to find great perfection realm heavenly venerates to gain experience? In the young master's opinion, Longao was only an intermediate great perfection realm heavenly venerate. If he wanted to break through, he would definitely have to fight constantly. If the two of them teamed up, they could also look after each other. How could Longao not know what the young master meant? However, he was no longer the same as he was in the past. Simply looking for a battle with a perfected heavenly master would not help at all. It was a very helpless thing. In other words, if he wanted to break through as soon as possible, he had to compress and condense the power of the origin under great pressure, thus condensing the origin domain. Young master, I still have important matters to attend to, so we can't team up for the time being. Chapter 3396. Of course, the young master wouldn't think too much about it. In his opinion, Longao had his own secrets, so it was reasonable that he didn't team up with him. Even if the young master was beaten to death, he would never have thought that Longao had broken through from an intermediate heavenly venerable to a peak heavenly venerable in such a short period of time. The young master didn't continue to stay. Since seeing Longao's talent and potential, the young master could no longer control himself. He couldn't wait to immediately become a peak heavenly venerable. He was helpless, but he was even more depressed. It was easy to think about it, but it was difficult to actually do it. Seclusion was not feasible. Only constant battles and constant life and death experiences could successfully break through from an advanced heavenly venerable to a peak heavenly venerable in the shortest time possible. In Cloud Valley, Qin Shuangshuang was quietly cultivating. Until now, she still hadn't successfully broken through to half-step heavenly venerable. Brother Long, are you ready to leave? He nodded. Although my cultivation has successfully broken through to a peak heavenly venerable, and no one can threaten me under the great Emperor Dao, I still can't defeat a true great Emperor Dao. The origin domain of a great Emperor Dao was too powerful. It was not something she could contend with at all. Only by continuously compressing and condensing the origin energy in his body under terrifying pressure would he have any hope of successfully condensing the origin energy into an origin domain. I don't want to stay in Cloud Valley. In just an instant, Longao already knew what Qin Shuangshuang meant. He smiled and said, Shuangshuang, you must follow me. As my cultivation has successfully broken through to a peak heavenly venerable, my chaotic dantian has also begun to change completely. Shuangshuang was very surprised, but she was more curious. She didn't know what Brother Long meant by the chaotic dantian change. She didn't say much. Even she was a little confused about her chaotic dantian. She had successfully reached the peak of the 7th revolution of the 9-revolution chaos formula, but she still couldn't smoothly break through to the 8th revolution. Longao was also looking forward to it. He didn't know what kind of magic would be born once his 9-revolution chaos formula broke through to the 8th revolution. Every breakthrough of the 9-revolution chaos formula was a matter of life and death. Could it be that if he wanted to break through to the 8th revolution, he also had to go through a life and death situation? The next day, Longao had already left Cloud Valley. The best training was to see if he could find a first transformation Dao confirming Emperor, or a second transformation Dao confirming Emperor. This way, the pressure would be just right. What was the strength of the Tian Fa Emperor? How many transformations had it taken to become a great emperor? How strong was Heaven Burial Emperor? How many cycles would it take to become an emperor? Although Longao already knew the difference in strength between great emperors, he still didn't know which great Emperor Tian Fa and great Emperor Tian Zong were. The primal chaos space was boundless. No one knew just how large the primal chaos space was. At the very least, if the primal chaos world was placed in the primal chaos space, it would only be a drop in the ocean. Wanting to find a suitable Dao Vindication Great Emperor experience was really not an easy matter. Ever since Heavenly Venerable Dark North, Heavenly Venerable Myriad Beasts, and undying heavenly venerable were sent flying with a single punch from Longao, the three of them had been unwilling to give up. Ever since the three of them became heavenly venerables, especially mid-level heavenly venerables, they had never suffered such humiliation. If they didn't kill Longao, they wouldn't be human. However, with Longao's current strength, even if the three of them joined forces, they still wouldn't be his opponent. In desperation, the three of them invited Great Emperor Zhu Yun to attack Longao together. The three of them didn't believe that no matter how strong Longao was, he could contend against a perfected stage heavenly venerable. If the four of them joined forces, they would definitely be able to kill Longao. As for Longao's heavenly venerable title, no one knew about it. Longao left Cloud Valley and met the four of them on the way. As the saying goes, enemies meet on a narrow road. The undying heavenly venerable looked coldly at Longao and said mockingly, "Longao, weren't you very arrogant before? This is heavenly venerable Zhu Yun. I want to see how you can leave here alive today." Heavenly venerable Zhu Yun? Full cultivation heaven race being? With a single look, Longao could tell that the elderly man beside the three of them was a full cultivation heavenly venerable. Even if he was only a middle cultivation heavenly venerable back then, he would still be able to kill a full cultivation heavenly venerable, let alone the current him. Laughing coldly, Longao sneered coldly. "The three of you were acting all high and mighty in front of me earlier on, so I'll let you guys off. To think that the three of you would be so despicable. To think that you guys would dare to come back and do it again. Seems like I've really let you guys down this time around." Ha! Ha ha! Ha 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 ha! The three of them burst out laughing maniacally as though they had just heard the funniest joke in the world. They had never seen someone so arrogant before. To think that he would dare to act so brazenly in front of a full cultivation, heavenly venerable. The three of them did not know where the other party got his courage from. "Longao, just you? Who do you think you are? Senior Zhu Yun is a full cultivation, heavenly venerable. Killing you is just child's play." The three of them had spent a huge amount of effort to invite heavenly venerable Zhu Yun to take action. The price they had paid was extremely high. Because of that, they had to kill the other party no matter the cost. If they let the tiger return to the mountains, there would be endless trouble in the future. The three of them were clear that if they could not kill Longao this time around, there was no way Zhu Yun would take action a second time. Even if he did, the three of them would have to pay an even greater price. If that were the case, it would be extremely difficult for them to do so. At this moment, Zhu Yun finally spoke up. He laughed coldly. "Lad, I heard that you've only been a Dao confirming heavenly venerable for a few years, and you've even reached the middle level. I'm really impressed by your potential and potential. I can give you a chance. As long as you agree to it, you can live." The moment they heard Zhu Yun's words, the three of them were shocked. The undying heavenly venerable hurriedly said, "Senior Zhu Yun, you promised us earlier on that you would help us kill Longao." The faces of the three of them were extremely grim. As a Dao confirming heavenly venerable, the most important thing was integrity. Since the other party had already promised them that he would kill Longao, they had not expected him to change his mind at the last minute. If Zhu Yun didn't take action, then even if the three of them worked together, they still wouldn't be able to kill Longao. In fact, they might even end up losing more than they gained. Zhu Yun waved his hand, stopping the three of them from continuing. How could he not know their intentions? However, he chose to ignore them. With his status as a full cultivation, heavenly venerable, there was no need for him to explain anything. Seeing that the three of them weren't speaking, Zhu Yun sneered. "My intentions are very simple. As long as you're willing to submit to me and become my slave, I can let you go." Chapter 3397. Surrender? Slave? The undying heavenly sovereign and the other two were overjoyed when they heard Zhu Yun's words. Even if they didn't kill Longao, as long as Longao chose to surrender, it would be no different from killing him. Would Longao agree? From their point of view, The best outcome would be if Longao disagreed and Zhu Yun killed him. However, everyone was afraid of death. As long as one was afraid of death, the chances of choosing to submit in the face of death was very high. Zhu Yun? Zhu Yun sneered because he knew very well that a mere mid-level heavenly venerate wouldn't dare to refuse him. But what was the result? Who do you think you are? How dare you show off in front of me? Are perfected heavenly venerates that powerful? Huh? Hearing Longao's words, whether it was the undying heavenly sovereign and the other two, or heavenly venerate Zhu Yun, they were completely dumbfounded. Were perfected heavenly venerates that powerful? Only an idiot would ask such a question. As everyone knew, perfected heavenly venerates were the strongest existence below great emperors. Even if Longao could fight one against three and defeat the three of them, in front of Zhu Yun, Longao was still somewhat lacking. The gap between mid-level heavenly venerates and perfected heavenly venerates was too big. The two weren't on the same level at all. The three looked at the youth in front of them as if they were looking at a fool. They really couldn't figure out why Longao dared to be so arrogant. "Senior Zhu Yun, please make your move." Zhu Yun nodded. However, before Zhu Yun could make a move, Longao struck first. As long as he was not facing a Tao confirming great emperor, even if it was a perfected Tao confirming heavenly venerate, he could easily destroy the other party without even using the devouring firmament. He took a step forward and threw a punch at Zhu Yun. "You're courting death." He didn't put Zhu Yun in his eyes at all. If he couldn't even deal with a mere mid-level heavenly venerate, then how could he establish himself in the chaos space? Zhu Yun was very arrogant. He wanted to let Zhu Yun know how big the gap between mid-level heavenly venerates and perfected heavenly venerates was in close combat. Boom! There was a loud bang. Longao's body did not move, but Zhu Yun was directly sent flying by a punch. His body was like a madman with a broken string, fiercely smashing towards the back. Plop! He directly smashed into the ground. His face instantly turned pale, and traces of blood began to flow out from the corner of his mouth. Zhu Yun was completely dumbfounded. He had actually been sent flying by a puny mid-level Tao, confirming Empyrean, with a single punch. Is this true? If he hadn't experienced it personally, he wouldn't have dared to believe that this was true. Ever since he became a celestial venerable, he had never encountered such a thing. No wonder this person was so arrogant just now. It turned out that he had the capital to be arrogant. On the other hand, the three celestial venerables, Celestial Venerate Dark North, Celestial Venerate Undying, and Celestial Venerate Myriad Beasts shuddered. They stared at the scene in disbelief. How long has it been since Longao confirmed his Tao? In such a short period of time, Longao's strength was actually able to suppress a peak Empyrean. Such talent and potential was truly terrifying, even monstrous. Are you still pretending? Zhu Yun's face was extremely gloomy as he endured the bursts of pain coming from his body. He said coldly, "Longao, I have to admit that your strength is comparable to mine. But do you think you've already won?" He sneered. As long as the other party was not a Tao confirming great emperor, he had nothing to fear. Since things had already come to this, he did not intend to be merciful and kill the four of them in one fell swoop. This was Longao. If it was someone else, how would they dare to be so presumptuous? After all, Zhu Yun was a peak Empyrean. He was also a famous existence in the chaos space. Of course, Zhu Yun could guess what the other party was thinking. With a cold harumph, he took out a sword from his bosom. It was pitch black and covered in rust. No matter where he placed it, no one would pay attention to it. "Longao, do you recognize this thing?" Celestial Venerate Undying, Celestial Venerate Myriad Beasts, and Celestial Venerate Dark North looked at the sword in Zhu Yun's hand. The three of them were stunned for a moment. They seemed to have thought of something, and their expressions changed drastically. Drinking Heaven Sword? Yes, this is the legendary Drinking Heaven Sword. Celestial Venerate Zhu Yun relied on this Drinking Heaven sword to move unhindered in the chaos space. Under the Tao confirming Great Emperor realm, no one can resist the might of the Drinking Heaven sword. Longao is dead for sure this time. The three of them were well aware of the might of the Drinking Heaven sword. Even if Longao could contend with a peak Empyrean, he would not be able to resist the might of the Drinking Heaven sword. It was a pleasant surprise. No matter how arrogant Longao was, he would not be able to escape death in the end. Seeing that Longao did not speak, Zuyun thought that the other party was afraid. He smiled proudly and said, "The Heaven-Drinking Sword is a Tao-confirming divine weapon. I once relied on this Heaven-Drinking Sword to kill more than 30 Tao-confirming heavenly venerates and 3 Tao-confirming heavenly venerates at the Perfection Realm." Longao was shocked. He certainly knew just how strong the Heaven-Drain Sword was. Not to mention that it had killed over 30 Empyreans. Just the fact that the Heaven-Drain Sword was able to kill 3 Empyreans at the peak of perfection was enough to explain just how strong the Heaven-Drain Sword was. "Take my sword first. I'll let you feel the might of the Drinking Heaven Sword." Zhu Yun casually swung his sword. It was an ordinary sword, but the sword chi was like a rainbow that cut through the sky. Longao did not use the Devourer of the Heavens. Instead, he used his finger as a sword and also slashed out with sword chi. The sword chi collided with a terrifying sound that reverberated throughout the 9 heavens. Puchi, a mouthful of blood was spat out. Longao's complexion also changed slightly. What a terrifying divine tool. Longao could almost affirm that this so-called Drinking Heaven sword, even if it was placed among all the divine tools, was definitely a first-class existence. Even if he used the Devourer of the Heavens, he would only be able to resist the Drinking Heaven sword. It was too powerful and had exceeded his understanding. "Ha ha ha, Longao, I only used 10% of the Drinking Heaven sword's power. How do you feel if I use the full power of the Drinking Heaven sword? Do you think you can withstand it?" Longao's heart sank. Only now did he know that although he could kill peak Empyreans, he couldn't truly move unhindered under the Great Emperor realm. His own strength should be invincible, but in the primal chaos space, there were far too many Tao-confirming divine tools that he couldn't contend with. For example, his own primal chaos palace. If it weren't for his primal chaos Dantian fusing with the primal chaos palace, he would have died countless times. This Drinking Heaven sword was too powerful. Longao was almost certain that if Zhu Yun used the Drinking Heaven sword at full strength, he might not be able to withstand it. He had been too careless. If he had used the Devourer of the Heavens from the start, it was unknown who would have died. P.S. Please support Little Nine's new book, Cultivation Berserk Upgrade. Chapter 3398. Are you afraid? Zhu Yun was very satisfied with the other party's expression. He was very confident in his Devour Heaven sword. Under normal circumstances, with his own strength, he wouldn't be a match for the other party. But now, with the Devour Heaven sword in hand, he could easily kill the other party. Ever since he obtained the Devour Heaven sword, Zhu Yun had never been afraid of anyone, unless it was a Tao-confirming Great Emperor. As long as he didn't provoke a Tao-confirming Great Emperor, the Tao-confirming Great Emperor wouldn't find trouble with him. With just you, not to mention the Devour Heaven sword, he wouldn't be afraid even if he faced a real Tao-confirming Great Emperor. Previously, he faced Tian Fa Great Emperor head-on. Just imagine, in the entire chaos space, how many people dared to go against Tian Fa Great Emperor? It was almost impossible. Undying Heavenly Sovereign, Wanshou Heavenly Sovereign, and Dark North Heavenly Sovereign were pleasantly surprised. They had almost forgotten about the Devour Heaven sword in Zhu Yun's hand. It was a legendary supreme treasure. Stubborn, I will let you know what a fate worse than death is. He had just witnessed the other party's strength. If he could subdue the other party, it would be a very good thing for him. Seeing that the other party didn't speak, Zhu Yun seemed to be very impatient. He asked coldly, "I'm giving you one last chance. Will you submit?" Zhu Yun was running out of patience. No matter how strong the other party was, he had no chance against his Devour Heaven sword. If it wasn't for the fact that the other party's strength wasn't bad, and once he submitted, It would be like adding wings to a tiger. Otherwise, he wouldn't have wasted any more words and directly killed him. Trash. The chaos axe appeared, and Longao swung it with a backhand. Boom! The undying heavenly sovereign and the other two were almost scared to death. The other party's strength was far beyond their scope of understanding. They were almost killed by him. Tao confirming great perfection realm, heavenly sovereign. You have already reached the Tao confirming great perfection realm. The undying heavenly exalt, and the other two exclaimed. How long had it been since their last parting? Yet, he had already made consecutive breakthroughs to become a great circle Tao, confirming heavenly exalt. Was this for real? Unbelievable. If they hadn't seen it with their own eyes, they wouldn't have believed it even if they were beaten to death. Not to mention the three. Even Zhu Yun had a face of disbelief. Of course, he knew what cultivation meant. Regardless of whether it was an ordinary martial artist or a Tao vindication martial artist, their cultivation itself was heaven-defying. Wanting to break through in a short time was easier said than done. Some people were unable to break through from advanced Empyrean realm to peak Empyrean realm, but this person had done it in the blink of an eye. Such talent, such potential. In the entire primal chaos space, there was simply no one who could compare to him. He was just too freakish. The more this was the case, the more Zhu Yun wanted to subdue the other party. If the other party could become a Tao-confirming great emperor, wouldn't it mean that he would have a Tao-confirming great emperor as a slave in the future? Just thinking about it made him excited. However, on the other hand, if they couldn't keep this person here today, it would be like releasing a tiger back into the mountains. With this person's powerful talent, no one knew when he would break through to the Tao-confirming emperor realm. Although he was very confident in his heaven-drinking sword, once the other party became a Tao-confirming great emperor, he wouldn't be able to deal with Longao even if he had the heaven-drinking sword. This was the gap between a Tao-confirming great emperor and a Tao-confirming celestial venerable. It was difficult to surmount, like a huge chasm. Zhu Yun, did you dream last night? Rage. How could Zhu Yun not know Longao intention? He no longer showed any mercy. Since the other party wasn't willing to submit, he would beat the other party into submission. This time, no matter what price he had to pay, he had to deal with the other party. It would be a pity to kill the other party. At this moment, a powerful aura came quickly. Heavenly Venerable Madman arrived in a blink of an eye. Looking at Longao, Jun Wuyan's face was gloomy. The grudge of his son's death was still vivid in his mind. He didn't expect Zhu Yun to deal with Longao. Taking advantage of this opportunity, he had to join forces with Heavenly Venerable Zhu Yun to kill the other party. Madman? Seeing Madman's sudden arrival and the murderous aura released from his body, Zhu Yun knew that the other party had a grudge with Madman. This was not an ordinary level of arrogance. He killed my son. I want to kill him. Ah! Hearing Madman's words, whether it was Heavenly Venerable Zhu Yun or the other three Heavenly Venerables, they were all shocked. They never thought that the other party would even kill Madman's son. They had seen powerful people, but they had never seen such an arrogant person. They weren't unfamiliar with Madman at all. Madman was also a Tao confirming great perfection, Heavenly Venerable. Among the Heavenly Venerables, Madman was a very powerful existence. Once someone became his enemy, he would pester them like a madman. No one was willing to provoke Madman, because provoking him was like provoking a fly. Even Zhu Yun felt a little pained. However, in the face of his own interests, Heavenly Venerable Zhu Yun shook his head and said, Madman, I can't agree to your request. Why? Could it be that you were friends with him? Madman's face turned gloomy. He had clearly sensed the aura of battle just now. If he wasn't mistaken, it should be Zhu Yun and Longao fighting. He was very clear about Longao's strength. Even if he and Heavenly Venerable Nether joined forces, they still weren't a match for Longao, let alone Zhu Yun. However, Zhu Yun had the Sky Drinker Sword in his hand. If the two of them were really friends, then he would be doomed this time. He regretted it very much. He should have observed more before coming out. It was too late to regret now. Madman, I just said that I want to subdue him and make him my slave. So that's how it is. Madman understood Zhu Yun's intention and sneered. Being a slave or being dead was the same to him. He would rather see Longao become Zhu Yun's slave. Do you need my help? Madman naturally knew what the Sky Drinker Sword in Zhu Yun's hand meant. If Zhu Yun went crazy and relied on the Sky Drinker Sword in his hand, almost no one below the Tao confirming Great Emperor realm would be a match for him. However, this didn't include heavenly venerables who also had some heaven-defying treasures. Zhu Yun smiled and nodded, saying, "Help me seal the exit. Today, I want to see how capable this person is to be able to escape from my hands." This was great confidence. Holding the Sky Drinker Sword, Heavenly Venerable Zhu Yun seemed to have successfully subdued his opponent. From the beginning to the end, the two of them had chosen to ignore Longao. Chapter 3399. You're blowing your own trumpet. Longao could be said to be having a headache right now. So what if it was the Heaven Drinker Sword? Even though he was wary of the Heaven Drinker Sword, he wasn't at the point where he could be trampled on. As though he could guess what was going through Longao's mind, Heavenly Lord Lunatic said worriedly, "Zhu Yuan, you had better be careful. This man's strength is indeed a little sick." He had witnessed the other party's strength with his own eyes. Even a full cultivation, Heavenly Lord wouldn't be a match for him. Even though he didn't want to admit it, Zhu Yun knew that this man was the number one person below the Tao-proving emperor. If he didn't have the Heaven Drinker Sword, he would definitely not be a match for the other party. But now, with the Heaven Drinker Sword in his hands, he had nothing to worry about. "Longao, are you still not willing to submit? Submit your mother." Longao did not speak any more nonsense. He took a step forward and his entire body began to attack. The primal chaos axe in his hand continuously chopped out. One axe after another, it was continuous. At the same time, a dragon's roar rang out. Boom, 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 boom. The entire world started flashing with thunderbolts as 100,000 feet long Thunder God Dragon appeared. It coiled around Longao's body and reared its head into the sky, roaring out continuously. Scared out of his wits. Other than Lunatic, be it Heavenly Lord Zhu Yun or the undying Heavenly Lord, they were all scared out of their wits. They had not expected Longao's strength to be this formidable. Seemed like he had not even used his full strength earlier on. How could they dare to continue hesitating? The Heaven Drinker Sword in Zhu Yun's hand started to emit streams of sword chi. At the same time, the sword chi roared out into the sky, clashing with the dragon's roar. What should we do now? Heavenly Lord Wansho's face was getting darker by the moment. He would be lying if he said that he wasn't afraid. No one knew if Zhu Yun could successfully kill Longao with the Heaven Drinker Sword. If he could kill him, everything would be fine. But if anything were to happen, the consequences would be unimaginable. The Heaven Drinker Sword's sword chi slammed down on the Thunder God Dragon. Initially, the Heaven Drinker Sword was practically invincible. But under the might of the Heaven Drinker Sword, it started to tremble slightly. Huh? Longao was completely shocked, and his face was filled with surprise. He really didn't expect the Heaven Drinking Sword to be so powerful that it could contend against his devouring the heavens. There were a total of 3 moves, and he had only comprehended the first move. There were still 2 more moves. At this moment, Longao was looking forward to the next 2 moves. The first move, devouring the heavens, was already powerful enough. Then the second move, and even the third move, it was easy to imagine what it meant. As for his last 2 moves, he still couldn't figure them out. However, according to Emperor Sky Burial, as long as he could comprehend the second move, he would have the power to fight against the Tao affirmation Great Emperor. One could only imagine how powerful the second move was. Empyrean Madman naturally knew just how powerful Longao's move was. Before that, even when he and Empyrean Netherworld joined forces, they were still no match for Longao. This was because Longao had used precisely this move. Although he was very confident in the Heaven Drinking Sword in Zhu Yuan's hand, he didn't want any accidents to happen. Taking a step forward, Empyrean Madman also launched a sneak attack on Longao from behind. As a Tao affirmation, great perfection stage Empyrean, under normal circumstances, he wouldn't casually launch a sneak attack. After all, this wasn't something to be proud of. But now, Empyrean Madman couldn't care so much. As long as he could successfully kill Longao, face wasn't important. Two Tao affirmation, great perfection stage Empyrean joined forces, and with the help of the heaven-drinking sword, Longao didn't retreat at all. Both sides were in a stalemate. One had to admit that Longao's devouring the heavens was heaven-defying. At this moment, a figure appeared. Looking at the crazy battle in front of him, his face changed again and again. Seeing this person, Zhu Yuan was overjoyed and immediately shouted, "Devouring the heavens! Now I ask you to repay my favor and help me and Madman kill this person." Venerate Sky Devourer was a perfected heavenly venerate who had validated his Tao and was also the young master's father. He was also a very powerful existence among heavenly venerates. Even heavenly venerate Zhu Yun and heavenly venerate Lunatic feared venerate Sky Devourer. As for the relationship between Longao and his son, Venerable Heaven Devourer didn't know. He also didn't know who Longao was. In the primal chaos space, there were only so many perfect Empyreans that had stepped into the Tao. Nearly all of them knew each other, but there were also some hidden powerhouses. Heavenly Venerate Devourer couldn't figure out when such a powerful perfected Heavenly Venerate had appeared in the primal chaos space. However, many years ago, he had signed a favor with Heavenly Venerate Zhu Yun and promised to help Heavenly Venerate Zhu Yun once in the future. Heavenly Venerate Devourer was a person who kept his promises. Therefore, he didn't even think about it and nodded. He didn't even ask for the reason. In his heart, as long as Heavenly Venerate Zhu Yun asked for this favor, he would be able to repay it and resolve one of his worries. 3 perfected Heavenly Venerates joining forces to deal with Longao. If news of this spread, the 3 of them wouldn't be able to afford to lose face. However, under the circumstances, they simply couldn't care less. Longao's strength was far beyond everyone's understanding. In particular, Heavenly Venerate Devourer had been curious as to why Heavenly Venerate Lunatic and Heavenly Venerate Zhu Yuan would join forces to deal with this person. As soon as he joined the battle, he immediately realized that this person's strength was too strong and couldn't be underestimated. Under normal circumstances, the 3 of them would be able to kill a perfected Heavenly Venerate in a short time if they joined forces and had the help of the Sky Drinker Sword. But what was the result? With a roar, Heavenly Venerate Devourer began to use his innate ability, the Sky Devourer. This move was very heaven-defying. It was also because of this move that Heavenly Venerate Devourer was able to move unhindered among Heavenly Venerates. Unless he encountered a perfected Heavenly Venerate like Zhu Yuan, who possessed a heaven-defying treasure, he was practically the strongest existence below a Heavenly Venerate Emperor. The Sky Devourer Divine Ability and the Sky Drinker Sword were 3 perfected Heavenly Venerates. Even though Longao was strong, he still couldn't resist them. However, Longao was still undefeated. Not only that, but as the battle continued to escalate, Longao actually began to slowly reverse the situation and even began to steadily gain the upper hand. What was going on? The 3 of them were completely dumbfounded. Longao's strength had completely shocked them all. In fact, the 3 of them didn't know that if Longao was still a mid-level Heavenly Venerate, then the 3 of them, together with the Sky Devourer Divine Ability and the Sky Drinker Sword, might not be a match for him. However, the situation now was different. Longao's cultivation base had smoothly broken through to the perfected Heavenly Venerate. This was the key. Suddenly, the situation changed. Thunder rumbled between heaven and earth. Chapter 3400. Everyone was completely stunned. This is the power of the world. What did the power of the world mean? Everyone was very clear in their hearts. according to the legends. In order to break through from the peak Great Emperor realm to the sovereign ancestor realm, one must condense the force field in one's body into the power of the world. The power of the world, the sovereign ancestor realm. A sovereign ancestor realm had descended, not to mention the others. Longao was the only one who was completely shocked. This was because the descent of this terrifying power was the same as the mysterious power that had suddenly descended when he was about to prove his Tao. He did not know before, but now, Longao finally understood that this mysterious power came from a sovereign ancestor realm. A sovereign ancestor realm was the strongest existence apart from a sovereign ancestor. He was furious. Who the F***ck are you? Come out if you have the ability. Why are you sneaking around? If this person had not suddenly stopped him, not only would he not have died, but he would also have succeeded in attaining his Tao. Now that he had succeeded in attaining his Tao, he was thinking that when he became a sovereign ancestor in the future, he would investigate what this mysterious power was. However, he never thought that he would find it so easily. So what if the other party was a sovereign ancestor realm? Hearing Longao's words, everyone was completely stunned. They could not believe that Longao was so arrogant that he dared to insult a sovereign ancestor realm. Among the martial artists who had attained their Tao, the sovereign ancestor realm was only a legendary existence. It was unknown whether it really existed. Therefore, in the chaotic space, a sovereign ancestor realm was the strongest existence. Longao, I really did not expect you to be able to reach this step. You are very good. If I had not been careless, do you think you could have become a heavenly venerable? A middle-aged man in purple clothes appeared. His body was emitting a strong bloody aura that shrouded the entire world. The 6 heavenly venerables kept retreating. Even Zhu Yun, who had the divine sword in his hand, did not dare to be careless. Not to mention the righteous Tao heavenly venerables. Even a peak great emperor was not enough in front of a sovereign ancestor realm. If a sovereign ancestor realm wanted to destroy them, it would be a matter of minutes. Who are you? Sovereign ancestor Purple Blood sneered and said coldly, You don't even know me. You are really sad. You're the tragedy. Longao was not afraid at all. So, what if he was a Tao sovereign ancestor? Back then, you stopped me from attaining my Tao. It's time for us to settle the score. Ha! Ha ha ha! Ha 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 ha! He laughed crazily as if he had heard the funniest joke in the world. With a face full of mockery, the purple blood imperial ancestor said with disdain, Longao, if I hadn't been cultivating in seclusion, do you think you could have reached this step? Without waiting for Longao to speak, the purple blood imperial ancestor continued, a perfected heavenly venerate who has even comprehended the heaven-devouring dome. Ha ha ha! If you had comprehended the third move, perhaps I would have been wary. But now, you are just an ant in my eyes. Do you understand? Hearing those words, Zhang Xian's heart skipped a beat. The other party actually knew that he had comprehended devouring the heavens. This was really strange, but you have to know, very few people knew that he had comprehended devouring the heavens in front of the exalted celestial tablet. How did the purple blood imperial ancestor know about it? Lord Imperial Ancestor, we'll leave first. We won't disturb you any longer. A cold snort had all 6 of them shivering in fear. They did not know what this purple blood imperial ancestor wanted. Even if he wanted to kill them, they wouldn't be able to do anything about it. If they were to say that they weren't afraid, that would be a lie. But what could they do even if they were afraid? Against a Tao verification imperial ancestor, there was nothing they could do. In fact, they didn't even have the thought of striking out. The imperial ancestor of the orthodox path was way too strong. I want to kill this man. You guys stay behind and be my witnesses. All right. Without even thinking about it, the 6 of them agreed. Furthermore, if this Tao verification imperial ancestor could really kill Longao, it would be a good thing for them. After all, the strength of Longao was way beyond their knowledge. To think that the combined forces of 3 perfected heavenly venerates and heavenly venerate Zhu Yun's heaven drain sword would not be able to kill Longao. Basically, it was expected that they wouldn't be able to kill Longao. However, The situation was different now. With the strength of a Tao verification imperial ancestor, it would be a piece of cake for him to kill Longao. The six of them retreated far away. They were really afraid of being implicated. After all, a Tao verification imperial ancestor was too strong. Longao, submit to me obediently. Not only will I tell you everything, but you will also become a Tao verification imperial ancestor in the future. How about it? Submit? Ha, you're really shameless. For some reason, two words appeared in Longao's mind. Purple blood. What was going on? Purple blood imperial ancestor. Purple blood imperial ancestor's heart trembled when he heard Lin Yun call out his name. Could it be that Lin Yun had already awakened? It felt a little ridiculous. Lin Yun was just a perfected heavenly venerate. How could he have awakened? You finally know who I am. Although the words purple blood appeared in Longao's mind for no reason, he did not know where purple blood imperial ancestor came from. Why did he want to stop him from reaching the Tao verification realm? Was there a grudge between him and purple blood imperial ancestor? Purple blood imperial ancestor did not want to continue talking nonsense. He looked coldly at Longao and used his finger as a sword to slash at Longao. The sword chi was like a rainbow as it cut through the sky and slashed at Longao. The power of the world. Longao was shocked when he felt that the sword chi contained the power of the world. This was the first time he had seen the power of a Tao verification imperial ancestor. At this moment, a black shadow suddenly appeared from the chaos axe. It was none other than Yi Zong, the Emperor of Heaven Burial. Emperor of Heaven Burial? The sword chi was blocked by the Emperor of Heaven Burial, but Yi Zong was only a remnant soul. Even so, Yi Zong did not take a step back. He stood firmly in front of Longao and looked coldly at Purple Blood Imperial Ancestor. Purple Blood, the few of you joined forces to sneak attack my master. Do you still want to fight back? Ha ha ha, Yi Zong. Do you know that a perfected heavenly venerate emperor who is yet to reach the Tao verification imperial ancestor realm? Even if you were at your peak, you would still be an ant in my eyes. Do you think you can stop me from killing Longao? Ha 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 ha. Purple blood imperial ancestor was full of ridicule. A Tao verification imperial ancestor was an expert of the world. A mere remnant soul wanted to stop him. It was impossible. Today he must kill Longao. No one could stop him. Yi Zhang's face was gloomy and as ugly as it could be. Chapter 30, 401. Just as the purple blood imperial ancestor was about to attack, Longao forcefully borrowed the power of the primal chaos axe and sucked Yi Zong into it. Yi Zong was only a fragmented soul. Even Emperor Tianzong at his peak was no match for the purple blood imperial ancestor, let alone now. Instead of that, there was no need to waste his time. Boom! There was a loud explosion. Even without waiting for Longao to have time to react, he was already instantly enveloped by a terrifying power of the world. Longao's body began to tremble after being hit hard. Although his defense was terrifying, it was still unknown if Longao could withstand the attack of a Tao confirming Emperor ancestor. As Longao's body was sent flying, he disappeared without a trace. Humph! The purple blood imperial ancestor harumphed coldly. The purple blood imperial ancestor said coldly, I must kill you today. The six of you, search for Longao's body. If anyone can find him, I'll help him become a martial emperor. A great surprise instantly filled their bodies. Whether it was the undying Heavenly Venerates trio or Heavenly Venerate Zhu Yun's trio, the six of them knew very well how difficult it was to become a great emperor. It was too difficult to break through under normal circumstances. If they had the help of a Tao confirming emperor ancestor, it would be a different story. Besides, they wanted to kill Longao anyway. They were just looking for him. Now that Longao had suffered an attack from a Tao confirming emperor ancestor, they did not know if he was still alive or not. It was a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity for the six of them. No one was willing to give it up. Without hesitation, The six of them spread out and began to search for Longao's whereabouts. The person who suddenly appeared to save Longao was, of course, Yizong. If Yizong was not willing, Longao would not have let him enter the Chaos Axe. In the chaos space, in an extremely secluded valley, Longao's aura was completely gone. He was like a dead man. Yizang's soul watched quietly with worry written all over his face. He muttered to himself, "Master, you have to hold on. Once you enter the cycle of reincarnation, whether you can make it through this time is unknown." Yizong had not expected the violet blood imperial ancestor to suddenly appear. Previously, when his master had become a Tao-confirming martial artist, the purple blood imperial ancestor had not appeared. He had thought that the purple blood imperial ancestor would not appear again. Things were getting troublesome. At this moment, Longao laid quietly in the valley, still hanging on to his last breath. If not for the chaos elixir field and the chaos tree, it was unknown if he could have withstood it. At this moment of life and death, in Longao's mind, the 9-revolution chaos mantra began to slowly cultivate. From the first revolution to the peak of the 7th revolution, the cycle repeated once. Right at this moment, Longao's primordial spirit began to tremble violently, as if it was being continuously struck by a hammer. Suddenly opening his eyes, Longao stood up and looked around the valley. His face was filled with pleasant surprise. He had gotten it right. Ever since he had become a Tao-confirming martial artist, Longao had been thinking about how to break through the 8th revolution of the 9-revolution chaos mantra. After all, he was very much looking forward to what kind of divine ability he would comprehend after breaking through the 8th revolution. Who knew how long it would take for a normal breakthrough? It would require a moment of life and death to comprehend it. It was easier said than done, but it was almost impossible to comprehend in a moment of life and death. Longao still remembered that before this, he had broken through the 7th revolution consecutively. Each time he broke through, it was a moment of life and death. If he was careless, he would fall into a state of eternal damnation. This time, Longao could have resisted, but he did not do so. He wanted to resist the move of the Tao-confirming martial emperor and see if he could successfully break through the 8th revolution in a moment of life and death. After all, Longao was still relatively confident in his defensive power. If he could not break through the 8th revolution, it would be difficult for him to resist the purple blood imperial ancestor. It would be better to depend on his luck. However, his luck was not bad. In the end, he made the right bet. Not only did he not die, but he even broke through the 8th revolution and comprehended the divine ability of the 8th revolution. Master, it's good that you're fine. If you couldn't survive this, then things would be very troublesome. The purple blood imperial ancestor and the others would definitely not give you another chance to reincarnate. Staring at Yizong in front of him, Longao's aura had completely changed. Although he still didn't know what was going on, he was very clear that his identity wasn't simple. Otherwise, he wouldn't have attracted the attention of a Tao-confirming sovereign ancestor. If there was no reason, then it was simply nonsense for a Tao-confirming martial emperor to attack him. He could only get the reason from Yizong. No matter what, he had to figure out what was going on this time. Being so muddle-headed was really a pain in the ass. Yizong, you said that I'm your master, right? Yes. Yizong seemed to have guessed something. His expression was somewhat helpless. Unless it was absolutely necessary, he would not say it now. Since that's the case, I want to know what's going on. Don't tell me. I'm not qualified right now. I don't want to hear any more. If you don't want to tell me, then don't enter my primal chaos axe. From now on, we have nothing to do with each other. Longao still did not know whether or not Yizong was his disciple. However, Yizong had saved him twice, so he had a good impression of him. However, one could know a person's face but not his heart. No one knew what Yizong was thinking. He did not want to put a ticking time bomb next to him. Who knew if Yizong would suddenly attack him? If that really happened, he would not even have the chance to regret it. Yizong seemed to have guessed it. He was not surprised at all. He sighed deeply and said helplessly, Master, I know what you're worried about. I didn't want to tell you now, because I was afraid it would affect your cultivation. But since the purple blood imperial ancestor has appeared, I don't need to hide it anymore. Here came a main topic. Longao did not say anything. He just listened quietly. He also wanted to know what was going on. Why did Yizong call him master? Why did the purple blood imperial ancestor attack him for no reason? After all, when he was trying to prove his Tao, it was the purple blood imperial ancestor who secretly attacked him, causing him to fail and enter the cycle of reincarnation. If that was the case, then the enmity between him and the purple blood imperial ancestor was not small. Yizong took a deep breath and said, Master, you should know the different realms of Tao-proving cultivators. Longao nodded. Of course, he already knew that the realms of Tao-proving cultivators were divided into Tao-proving cultivators, Tao-proving celestial venerables, Tao-proving great emperors, Tao-proving imperial ancestors, and Tao-proving rulers. Tao-proving rulers were only legendary existences. Whether they really existed was unknown. Chapter 3402. Master, there are at least a few thousand heavenly venerables in the chaos space. A few thousand heavenly venerables? Lin Fan was shocked. It seemed that he had underestimated the number of heavenly venerables. The primal chaos space was boundless. Over the countless years, there had only been a few thousand Empyreans who had reached the Tao-confirming realm. That wasn't a lot. As for great emperors, there are less than 200, especially those in the peak great realm. There are only about 30 of them. Lin Fan nodded. The number of great emperors was much lower than heavenly venerables. It was understandable. As for sovereign ancestors in the entire primal chaos space, there have only been 18 sovereign ancestors who have reached the Tao realm. Master, you are one of them. As expected, Longao had already guessed that he might be the reincarnation of a great emperor. Otherwise, how could he have offended a great emperor? Lin Fan clenched his fists. He had been reincarnated continuously. Every time he reached the Tao realm, he would be blocked by a mysterious force, forcing him to reincarnate again. That was ruthless. What's the grudge between me and Imperial Ancestor Purple Blood? Master, there were originally only 17 Tao confirming emperors in the chaos space, and you were the youngest one. Not only that, but in just a few thousand years, you were already able to fight against the older Tao confirming emperors. You even started to have a huge grudge against a few of them. Longao did not speak. He just listened quietly. As time passed, the 6 Tao confirming emperor ancestors joined forces and fought against you for dozens of years. In the end, you couldn't fight against 4 of them and died. You reincarnated for 10,000 lives. In this life, if the 6 emperor ancestors didn't enter seclusion to cultivate and relax, you wouldn't have been able to reincarnate, let alone reach your current level. With 6 Tao Vindication sovereign ancestors joining forces to suppress him, it would be strange if he could be reincarnated successfully. Just like his previous life, when he was just one step away from successfully vindicating his Tao, he was still suppressed by the purple blood sovereign ancestor at the last moment, and he had to enter reincarnation again. He was furious. However, he was more curious. Yizong, where are you from? Purple blood imperial ancestor, Yin Yang imperial ancestor, devouring imperial ancestor, shrouding imperial ancestor, ethereal imperial ancestor, slaughtering imperial ancestor, purple blood imperial ancestor, Yin Yang imperial ancestor, devouring imperial ancestor, heaven shrouding imperial ancestor, ethereal imperial ancestor, slaughtering imperial ancestor. Longao thought about the 6 of them. He would definitely get back at them in the future. If he didn't take revenge, he would be letting himself down. Yizong, there's something I don't understand. Since the 6 of you have joined forces to suppress me, why don't you just kill me? He was very curious. This was a little abnormal. No matter who it was, even if it was him, he would definitely cut the weeds and eliminate the roots to prevent future troubles. Who would leave trouble for themselves? Take himself, for example. Although the 6 Tao-confirming sovereign ancestors had suppressed his 10,000 samsara, he couldn't guarantee that he wouldn't succeed once. Just like this time, when the 6 of them had been careless, he had become a peak Empyrean and could step into the Tao-confirming Great Emperor realm at any time. Even if he could become a Tao-confirming sovereign ancestor, it was still very possible. Once he became a Tao-confirming sovereign ancestor, it would be very troublesome. Master, there's something you don't know. Once you become a Tao-confirming sovereign ancestor, you will condense your own world force, and your primordial spirit will be infinitely close to being indestructible. It's too difficult for you to die. If it's not impossible, the 6 of them wouldn't have kept suppressing you. I see. Infinitely close to being indestructible. It seems like a Tao-confirming sovereign ancestor's primordial spirit is 99% indestructible. It's indeed very troublesome to die if you want to die. Therefore, once you become a dominator, you will be truly indestructible. However, it's easier said than done to become a dominator. As if he could guess what his master was thinking, Yizong continued, Master, according to the legends, there has never been a dominator in the entire chaos space. It's too difficult for a Tao-confirming sovereign ancestor to become a dominator. Some Tao-confirming sovereign ancestor have cultivated for countless years, and even they can't remember, yet they still can't break through. Yizong nodded. How could Longao not know what Yizong was talking about? If it was so easy to break through, then there would have been a dominator in the chaos space. Master, Purple Blood Imperial Ancestor, Yin Yang Imperial Ancestor, Devouring Imperial Ancestor, Shrouding Imperial Ancestor, Ethereal Imperial Ancestor, and Slaughter Imperial Ancestor. Only Purple Blood Imperial Ancestor has come out of seclusion. However, if the other Imperial Ancestors know that you've become a peak Celestial Venerate, I'm sure they'll come out one after another to deal with you. I know what you're saying. Master, you should avoid them as much as possible. Once you become a Tao-confirming sovereign ancestor, everything will be easier. Yizong seemed to have something he couldn't say. Longao was very curious and asked, Do you have something to say? Yizong nodded heavily and said helplessly, When the 6 Tao-confirming sovereign ancestors joined hands to deal with you, the 6 of us were unable to protect you. However, the other 5 should be fine. I was the only one who accidentally died. The other 5? He actually had 6 disciples. Longao's intuition told him that what Yizong had said should be true. Tian Kui, Great Emperor. Tian Qi, Great Emperor. Tian Yu, Great Emperor. Tian Hua, Great Emperor. Tian Shui, Great Emperor. The 6 of us are all rank 9 Tao, confirming Great Emperors and complete Tao, confirming Great Emperors under our Master's guidance. It's a pity that none of us are able to condense the power of the realm and become Tao, confirming Great Emperors. Longao waved his hand and said, If it were that simple, there wouldn't only be 18 Tao-confirming sovereigns in the chaos space. When you become a Tao-confirming sovereign ancestor again, I'll do my best to help you break through and become a Tao-confirming sovereign ancestor. Many thanks, Master. Longao nodded and said, Yizong, although you're only a primordial spirit now, you can meet Yin Lin at any time. Longao was prepared to use the chaos tree to revive his master, the evil ancestor, Yizong, and his 3 confidants. Yizong had already guessed it, but he was still very surprised. Being able to be reborn was something he really wanted. However, he still said, Master, I want to use your chaos axe to be reborn. Can I use the chaos axe as my body? He instantly understood what Yizong meant. The chaos axe itself was an extremely heaven-defying treasure. If he could use the chaos axe as his body, it would be a very good thing for Yizong, especially in terms of defensive power. Longao didn't even think about it. The chaos axe was just a treasure to him. Since it was useful to Yizong, he would definitely let him use it first. Many thanks, Master. Chapter 3403. For the rest of the time, Longao gave his all to help the evil ancestor and the others revive. With the chaos tree and the source realm, there was no issue at all. Ha! To think that I, Xianyuan Invincible, would be able to revive. Ha 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 ha. It wasn't just Xianyuan Invincible. Even the evil ancestor was elated. Master, evil ancestor, what are you guys going to do next? Error. I understand what you mean. The evil ancestor, and I have already thought it through. We're going to head into the chaos space ourselves. Longao understood his master's intentions. There was no objection at all. With the help of the evil ancestor, he believed that most ordinary Dao-proving martial artists would not be a match for the two of them. There was no hesitation at all. The evil ancestor and Xianyuan Invincible left as well. As for Xiaoqian and the others, they remained within the chaos Dantian. Yunxi, Yunxian, Lin Ruoi, and Qin Xuanshuang were on really good terms. This had Longao heaving out a sigh of relief. As for Yi Zong, it was going to be troublesome for him to revive. Using the chaos axe to cultivate his body and fusing with the chaos tree. Anyone could imagine what that meant. Longao was clear that the situation right now was extremely unfavorable for him. It was just as Yi Zong had said. Once he broke through to Dao-proving Heavenly Lord, he believed that the Purple Blood Emperor ancestor wouldn't be the only one. The remaining 5 Emperor ancestors, Yin-Yang Emperor ancestor, Devouring Emperor ancestor, Heaven-Shrouding Emperor ancestor, Ethereal Emperor ancestor, and Slaughter Emperor ancestor, would all appear. Given his current strength, he wouldn't be a match for any of the Emperor ancestors, even in a one-on-one situation, let alone 1 against 6. Since he couldn't fight them head-on, he could only think of ways to break through to the Dao-proving Emperor state or even the Emperor ancestor state in the shortest time possible. Thinking about fusing and breaking through was easier said than done. Master, how about you make use of this period of time to retrieve your weapon? Where is it? His essence spirit had yet to awaken. Therefore, he knew nothing about the past. However, Yi Zong replied, Master, before you fell, not only did you leave your weapon in the forbidden ground, you even left your memories there, just in case. Master, the forbidden ground is within the illusory valley. Other than Yi Zong himself, no one else knew where the illusory valley was. Yang Qi considered himself lucky to have run into Yi Zong. It was hard to imagine how things would have gone so smoothly if he hadn't met Yi Zong. He left just like that? Longao didn't want to wait for even a minute. It was an urgent matter. He had to awaken his primordial spirit as soon as possible and see what had happened. After all, there were some details that even Yi Zong did not know. Illusory Valley. It was an extremely secluded place in the primal chaos space. It was very difficult for people to find this place. When Longao was besieged by the 6 Dao, confirming emperors, Longao was also on guard. He sealed a part of his primordial spirit in the illusory valley, just in case. As expected, the illusory valley was set up by Longao. With Yi Zhang's help, Longao smoothly entered the illusory valley. Inside a cave residence, Longao could not wait to fuse with his memories. The moment his primordial spirit was awakened, a huge amount of information surged into his mind. He now knew that Yi Zong was telling the truth. The 6 martial monarchs, the martial monarchs Yin and Yang, the martial monarchs, 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 the martial monarchs of the void, 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 and the martial monarchs of the void. His face was gloomy. Master, what should we do now? Yi Zong already knew that since his master had awakened his primordial spirit, everything had to be on the right track. With his master's temper, revenge was a must, not to mention 6 Dao confirming emperors. Even if all 17 Dao confirming emperors gathered together, he believed that his master would not be afraid. You're right. Now is not the time for revenge. There's no need at all. So, in addition to helping you be reborn, I have to recover my strength as soon as possible. Only then can I take revenge. Without breaking through to the Dao confirming emperors, there was no need to talk about revenge. It was simply nonsense. When he was at his peak, he could not defeat the 6 Dao confirming emperors, let alone now. Master, take your weapon first? He nodded, looking at the huge sword in front of him that was shrouded in black light. Longao smiled and stretched out his hand. Wung wung, wung wung wung, wung 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 wung. The sword began to make a wung wung sound, and with a whoosh, it landed in Longao's right hand. The Divine War Sword. The Divine War Sword? He did not seem to understand his master's meaning. But before Yi Zong could speak, Longao had already said, 10,000 generations ago is the past. Now that I've been reborn, everything has to start again. This sword has been with me for countless years. Now I'll give it a new name, Divine War Sword. This time, I'll go to the Empyrean Steel and obtain a new life, Divine War Sword. What a domineering life. Yi Zong did not know why, but he felt that his master, who had gone through 10,000 reincarnations, seemed to be different. As for what was different, he could not tell. Of course, Yi Zong would not say much. As for the sword in his master's hand, he knew very well that this sword had followed his master through the chaotic space. Even Tao-confirming emperors of the same level were not his master's match. Otherwise, his master would not have sealed this sword here. Holding the Divine War Sword, Longao was completely different. Gradually, Longao closed his eyes. Layers of energy began to surround his body. Yi Zhang's expression suddenly changed. Then he was pleasantly surprised. He muttered to himself, 3 killing moves. Master is finally starting to comprehend the sword breaks the cosmos. The first move, devour the heavens. The second move, sword breaks the cosmos. Just as Yi Zong had said, Longao was beginning to comprehend the sword breaks the cosmos. He had never imagined that he, who had always been without eyebrows, would have already entered a state of enlightenment with the war god's sword in his hand. If he had not obtained the Divine War Sword, it would have been difficult to comprehend the sword breaks the cosmos. After all, when he had first created this move, he had comprehended it with a sword. Looking at the 6 people in front of him, the purple-blood imperial ancestor snorted and said coldly, "What a bunch of trash. You can't even find a corpse." The purple-blood imperial ancestor was very confident in his attack. If it had been Longao at his peak, it would have been fine. But now, Longao was only at the peak of the Empyrean realm. There was no way he could block his attack. There was no doubt that he would die. However, the purple-blood imperial ancestor was a little worried that he could not find Longao's corpse. He had suppressed him for 10,000 reincarnations. If he had relaxed a little, the other party had seized the opportunity to not only be reborn, but also succeeded in validating his Tao. If Longao became a Tao confirming emperors, then things would be really troublesome. He was helpless. You're tuning into the Warrior Lore YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.